Chapter 1746, Surprise. Chapter 1746, Surprise. Legion, don't take what happened today to heart. Things like this will happen when you come out for trial. You will only have the chance to be independent if you increase your power. Renfu saw her niece was dejected and comforted. Yeah, Legion cousin, your talent is so high, you can definitely reach Immortal King in the future. Once you reach Immortal King, I will go with you to kill that bastard, and then we can have our wedding, Chuchi said. Then, Chuchi held Renlijian's hand. Getting Chuchi's comfort, Renlijin felt a little better, but the killing intent in her eyes were dense. Not only was she going to kill that great extreme immortal but also He Wuren. Even though she was no match for him, but one day she would be able to kill him. Renfu knew what her niece thought and said, Legion, He Wuren and Bai Wuren usually appear at the same time. Although I don't know why Bai Wuren didn't come today, but you must not go attack He Wuren. Even if you do, you must go with Chu-Chi and your power must be higher than him. My cultivation level is almost the same as He Wuren, but I'm far from a match for him. Plus, that Bai Wuren wouldn't be weaker than He Wuren. The three fell silent. The three gained up on He Wuren, but He Wuren still subjugated Renlijin first. If Yemo didn't come, she would be in a worse situation. Who is Yemo? He Wuren seemed to be concerned with him. Renlijin asked in confusion. Not only He Wuren, but I feel concerned with him too. I think He Wuren probably suspects that Yemo hid his power. Otherwise, how could a great extreme immortal not fear us great eternity immortals at all? This great extreme immortal not only has Shadowless Worm but is also an immortal formation great master. This is also strange. Renfu said. Chu-Chi nodded. This person is not bad, we helped him once and he helped Legion. But I suspect he didn't hide his power. He can probably kill people above his level like He Wuren. He Wuren probably guessed this, and that's why he was worried about Yemo joining up with us. Chu-Chi is right. From how he instantly carved the entire map, he's probably stronger than me. I suspect he already knows what I got from the storage ring. Regardless, Yemo is no ordinary person and he helped us. Even if he didn't, you guys need to treat him with respect. Renfu said seriously. Chu-Chi said, What I don't understand is, since Yemo could carve down the jade slip, he clearly knew about it. Why did he not touch the storage ring nor the jade slip? Renfu fell silent. The only explanation was that Yemo found something better, but even she didn't see what it was. It's that bastard, I'm going to kill him. Renlijin suddenly roared. Renfu and Chu-Chi saw that great extreme immortal coming back, but they didn't see He Wuren. Renfu immediately nodded. Kill him. The great extreme immortal was focused on going, but when the three saw him, he also saw the three. He was a mere great extreme immortal. How did he dare to go upon seeing three great eternity immortal? Instantly he changed a direction and ran. Before he could move, a terrifying space-tearing force tore him to pieces. Seeing this great extreme immortal just disappear, the three sweated cold on their back. They knew they could only go along the route formed in their brain, but the consequence of not following it was too terrifying. After walking for half a day, Yemo found that this place was filled with ore mountains and immortal spirit herb mountains that had been excavated. He suspected that this place used to be a trial ground. A 10-meter-tall immortal spirit beast carcass suddenly blocked his road. Yemo stopped. A terrifying power came from this body, making Yemo retreat a few steps subconsciously. In this barren and wild place, Yemo felt this strange sense of suppression. It made his mind worry, and this tall immortal spirit beast body made him feel like the sky was collapsing on him. Such a powerful immortal spirit beast, Yemo took in a cold breath in. He had seen level 7 immortal spirit beast in the 7 refined tower. But this immortal spirit beast that was dead for countless years gave Yemo a more powerful feeling. This body was much smaller than that level 7 immortal spirit beast, but Yemo felt this immortal spirit beast might even be a level 9 immortal spirit beast. Thinking about this, Yemo was shocked. Level 9 immortal spirit beast was equivalent to immortal emperor. If this was really so, he would be earning big. Yemo just wanted to send the body into his golden page world when he saw a faint golden light come out from the body. Immortal Spirit Beast Core? Yemo instantly realized. He held down his excitement and took the fist-sized Immortal Spirit Beast Core. The pressure of the Immortal Spirit Beast was mostly from this Immortal Spirit Beast Core. It was powerful, but it couldn't attack. Yemo was Immortal Spirit Body in Great Extreme Immortal Peak Stage and thus could take the pressure. Yemo knew that just this Beast Core was invaluable. There were many means for Immortal Monarch to break through to Immortal Emperor, but very little could succeed. It could be said that only 1% of the means would succeed, and not everyone might be able to use it. Emperor Start Pill was a mean everyone could use. The main ingredient was a Level 9 Immortal Spirit Beast Core. Level 9 Immortal Spirit Beasts were extremely rare in Immortal Realm. They usually took humanoid form too. They were equivalent to a real Immortal Emperor, who would dare to touch Immortal Emperor Dan Tian. This was unimaginable luck that Yemo found a Level 9 Immortal Spirit Beast Core. He put it in a jade box and placed restrictions before sending into the Golden Page world. Yemo wasn't interested in the body of this Immortal Spirit Beast. Its bones were top-grade forgery materials, but nothing compared to the Beast Core. Yemo dug a place on the spot and buried the body. Level 9 Immortal Spirit Beasts were very respected in the Immortal Realm. If he didn't get the Immortal Spirit Beast Core, he would bring this body out for Immortal Crystals, but since he got the Immortal Spirit Beast Core, he would bury it in return. 4 hours later, Yemo stopped again. A huge black palace appeared before him again. The doors were tightly shut and there was a hexagonal rink in the middle. Yemo immediately thought of that hexagonal card he got. He took it out immediately. Yemo put the card in. Creak. The doors seemed to have not been opened for a long time. A sorts of chi came out, each one representing an immortal artifact or treasure. Yemo just stared at the center of the palace. There was a dark red stone derelict in the center. It was about 3 meters wide. It was that stone that made Yemo's heart skip. He finally realized what the extreme-grade forgery material Kai Feng Immortal King talked about was. Yemo didn't know how Kai Feng knew there was this ore here, but he knew this ore. It was refined star rock that wasn't in the 33 heavens. It sounds ordinary, but it's very extraordinary. It could be compared with star core flame, as it's also obtained from refining a planet. If you wanted to obtain the refined star rock, you needed to refine a large planet. Even Yemo suspected if this was real. How many planets would be refined to get a refined star rock this big? Even a Divine Emperor wouldn't do something this boring. Regardless, Yemo had decided to take it into his Golden Page world first. You really found the key to the palace? Hey Warren's shaky voice sounded. It was extreme joy. Chapter 1747, Buddhist God Art. Chapter 1747, Buddhist God Art. Yemo already noticed Hey Warren when he came. Before Hey Warren could attack, Yemo went into the palace first, and wanted to put the refined star rock into his storage ring. What confused Yemo was that the refined star rock didn't move at all. Haha, you want to put refined star rock into your storage ring? Do you think your storage ring is half god artifact? Hey Warren laughed and entered the palace. Yemo frowned and stopped trying. According to Hey Warren, it required half-god artifact or above storage ring to store. Although he could put it in his Golden Page world, but he didn't do so. He wasn't scared of Hey Warren, but he was certain he could keep Hey Warren here. If Hey Warren got away, news of him owning half-god artifact would spill. You probably don't want to see me the most now, right? Haha, I underestimated you. You actually got the key to this palace. Answer my question and you can kill yourself. I'll allow you to go into reincarnation. Hey Warren glanced at Yemo contemptuously. To him, no matter how strong Yemo was, he was no watch if he didn't have Ren Fu and them to help. Yemo raised his hand and Zisu was in his hand. Then he said, Actually, I really want to see you, do you believe me? There was a cruel smile on Hey Warren's lips, but he didn't attack and asked. My only confusion is, how did you get here? You need to get 4 parts of the map. How did you get here? If I tell you, will you not hurt me? Yemo asked plainly. Keep dreaming. Hei Wuren sneered. Then stop farting and fight, Yemo said and attacked. Hei Wuren saw that Yemo dared to initiate the attack and was furious. A golden crack appeared out of nowhere, as though it had always been here. Then, there was Buddhist chants in the palace like huge hammers that smashed in Yemo's sea of consciousness. This spirit sense knocking almost made Yemo spit a mouthful of blood. He immediately expanded his spirit sense domain and severed the Buddhist chants. This wasn't a spirit sense cultivation method but was much more powerful than ordinary spirit sense cultivation method. If he didn't have spirit sense domain, he would be heavily injured from that. At the same time, the golden crack landed. It was a 10-meter-long golden staff. This gave Yemo a very familiar feeling. At the bottom of the pond in the Chaos Star realm, he saw a staff and a skeleton. He didn't touch the staff next to it, but he felt the two staffs were similar. This murderous, inhumane Hei Wuren actually cultivated authentic Buddhist cultivation method. Even Yemo didn't expect this. Zisu's purple light was no weaker than the golden light. Instantly, the purple rainbow clashed with the golden light. Light splashed everywhere, creating space-tearing sounds in the palace. Clank. Zisu and the staff clashed together, creating huge sounds in the palace. Yemo's face didn't change. His rainbow god art was only half god art. Hei Wuren was a little stronger than Bai Wuren. He could easily kill Bai Wuren because he ambushed him first, but against Hei Wuren, Yemo would need to use other ways to kill him. However, Shadowless was asleep, or Shadowless could ambush him and grab a second of time for him. Hei Wuren's face changed. Although he released his staff casually, it was a Buddhist god art, Brahma sound gold shatter. When the Brahma sound entered the sea of consciousness, his golden staff could easily tear the opponent in half, but now, Yemo easily stopped it, and didn't seem to break sweat at all. You hid your power? Hei Wuren felt a great extreme immortal would definitely not be able to stop this move. Yemo released Zisu again, Illusion Cloud Division Strike. He wanted to kill Hei Wuren quickly, just like what Hei Wuren wanted to do to him. His sword rays split rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, before the Brahma sound dissipated, the palace was covered in Yemo's purple sword rays again. At the same time, Yemo punched. All the sword rays suddenly spun. It was as though the entire palace was spinning due to Yemo's punch. A terrifying grand killing intent surrounded the palace and swept over at Hei Wuren. Hei Wuren couldn't handle the shock in his heart anymore. He thought that move was Yemo's biggest killing blow, but this punch was about to tear open the void. Perhaps if Yemo wasn't limited by his cultivation level, this punch would have torn open the void. Hei Wuren didn't dare to hold back. He released a golden futon and shot out hundreds of hand signs. The golden futon formed golden ripples around him. With each hand sign, the ripple would expand a little. The golden ripples grew larger and larger in the void, and wave after wave. Every time Yemo's void killing force was stopped by the ripple, it would slow a little. Yemo's heart sunk. He hadn't fought with Immortal King, but it didn't mean he knew nothing. This futon with Hei Wuren's hand signs for the basic Immortal King domain. The Immortal King was so powerful because they were like truth realization state in the cultivation realm. They could completely expand their domain. Immortal King's domain was called Immortal King domain. The space in the immortal realm was stable, so it was too hard to form one's own domain. Even the most powerful Great Eternity Immortal could only bind space nearby with his immortal essence, but this wasn't domain. This was like Yemo's sword domain and spirit sense domain. Yemo was an expert in domain knowledge, but his cultivation level prevented him from forming his own domain in the immortal realm. When Great Eternity Immortal broke through to Immortal King, it was a qualitative chance. This change was forming domain. It was much more powerful than his spirit sense domain. Spirit sense domain would only work below Immortal King. Perhaps it was more agile and fluent, but it was far weaker than an Immortal King domain. But Hei Wuren used this futon to form his domain. Yemo knew if Hei Wuren's domain enveloped him completely, he wouldn't be able to retaliate. Yemo really wanted to use World Rock and give this guy a Tai Mountain Crush, but Yemo knew that the God Art used too much power. If Tai Mountain Crush couldn't kill Hei Wuren, he would be at a definite disadvantage. Yemo sighed. He learned quite some god art, but his cultivation level was too low. The more powerful the god art, the more immortal essence and spirit sense it required. If he used all his god arts together, 2 Hei-Wuren would be dead. But Yemo knew to be able to use many god arts at the same time, he would have to be at least Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage. Rumble. Void killing force clashed with the golden futon again. The terrifying sound almost flipped the palace. The ripple also started to cripple. After all, this wasn't Hei-Wuren's own domain, he used the futon to set it up. The division sword rays also became messy and scattered everywhere. Tens of sword ray had sliced open Hei-Wuren's clothes and created some blood. Some of the golden light struck Yemo, but Yemo was completely fine. Yemo's immortal spirit body prevented any injuries. Hei-Wuren's face was worse. Clearly, Yemo's punch was far more terrifying than that strike. For the first time, Hei-Wuren felt fear. His fake immortal king domain was also very taxing on spirit sense and immortal essence. But then, the fear was instantly swept away. If he didn't want news of him having Buddhist cultivation method to spill, he would have to kill Yemo. Die! He burned his immortal essence and attacked even faster. His futon shot out denser and greater ripples while his golden staff turned into a tidal wave of golden color at Yemo. Chapter 1748, Punch of Destruction. Chapter 1748, Punch of Destruction. There were denser and faster Brahma sounds as though they were going to tear at Yemo's sea of consciousness constantly. However, they were stopped by Yemo's spirit sense domain. Yemo knew this was Hei-Wuren attacking at full power. Victory or defeat depended on this move. He was also certain that if Hei-Wuren couldn't kill him with this move, he would leave. Realizing this, Yemo didn't hold back. There was not a third person here. He released World Rock, but this wasn't God Art. He knew he couldn't use 2 God Arts at the same time now. The World Rock covered by Void's secret silver suddenly smashed down like a huge mountain into that golden sea. The pouring golden sea immediately slowly after being blocked by the World Rock. The golden color retreated and the Brahma sounds weakened. Hei-Wuren was more and more shocked. He didn't expect Yemo to have this small mountain-like magic artifact. No wonder this Yi wasn't afraid of him nor Rin Fu and wanted to take a part of the immortal treasure. Realizing Yemo's terror, Hei-Wuren wanted to kill Yemo even more. He burned Heisei immortal essence like crazy and the immortal king domain spread rapidly. In just another second, his immortal king domain would sweep Yemo in. Then Yemo would be on the chopping block. How could Yemo let himself get in the immortal king domain? He sent out tens of spirit sense blades and punched a second time. Wave kill. Rumble. A 10-meter tall, 100-meter wide blue flame wave rose into the air and instantly formed a firewall as it collided into Hei-Wuren's golden futon. Sizzle. The blue flame easily crippled the golden ripples and charged at Hei-Wuren, but this was the end. A second even more terrifying blue wave filled the palace and also pressed towards Hei-Wuren. The first wave of flame quenched Hei-Wuren's domain and instantly came before Hei-Wuren. The intense scorch made him no longer able to suppress his terror. If he knew Yemo had such a powerful punch, he would rather run away immediately. But now, it was too late. He could only block it. Hei-Wuren suppressed the horror in his heart. The golden futon turned into a huge golden round shield blocking in front of him. Rumble. The fire smashed the golden futon and the golden futon immediately dimmed down. In the turn of an eye it became black. Hei-Wuren's body was full of a burnt smell. He successfully blocked Yemo's first fire wave, but before he could get away the second one came. The second wave burned the futon like paper. Blue like morning sky, immortal flame god art. Hei-Wuren spat these words and was devoured the flame. Yemo spat a mouthful of blood and flew back sitting on the ground. His wave kill punch could punch out 3 waves of flame and sweep all the killing force of the void over, making the opponent unable to asakti. But now, he only used 2 waves and collapsed to the ground. He didn't even punch out the killing force of the fist. It could be said he only released a third of the real power of wave kill. Yemo's body was deprived of immortal essence, his spirit sense was extremely depleted. If a hollow immortal came now, he might not be able to beat him. Emo ate a few pills. This situation occurred because he didn't know that blue like morning sky and wave kill combined would cost this much after blue like morning sky reached immortal flame. This meant that if wave kill was used, he would wait to be killed if it couldn't kill. This meant that even in his prime state, he wouldn't be able to use the entire wave kill with blue like morning sky. He would have to reach great eternity immortal. Even so, he wouldn't be able to use it easily. If he used it, he would be weakened to the extreme. The pills immediately turned to immortal essence, and Emo recovered a little. He looked forward at the charred area. There was only a golden staff on the side, nothing else. Emo sighed. Hey Warren definitely had more things than by Warren, but he couldn't control Wave Kill. Wave Kill destroyed the storage ring too. After recovering some immortal essence, Emo immediately put that refined star rock into the golden page world as well as the golden staff. Emo just realized that the battle caused nearly all the storage ring here to explode. These storage ring were clearly collected by that immortal king at the battlefield. He never came back after placing them here. Most of the things inside the broken storage ring were destroyed. Only some spare immortal crystals remain and some immortal artifacts. There were from low grade to extreme grade immortal artifacts. They were stacked up in piles. Emo shook his head. It was too much of a pity. Emo found 10 uncracked storage ring and found it was just some immortal artifact and immortal crystals and ordinary level forgery materials. Clearly, these storage ring had been harvested once already. Emo then studied this palace, and confirmed these was nothing else but the refined star rock. There was some slight space ripples from outside the palace. Emo immediately knew that Renfu and them were here. Emo didn't want to see them now. There was nothing else attracting him in the palace, so he left the palace without hesitation. Emo just left the palace and 3 figures landed just where Emo stood. It was clearly Renfu and them. Auntie Fu, this doesn't seem right. Someone seemed to have just fought here, Ren Lijin said. She felt much better after killing that great extreme immortal. Ren Elijin walked inside carefully and immediately, they found countless broken magic artifact and storage ring. This is the immortal treasure, but these storage rings seem to have been destroyed by the battle. Tens of thousands of them were destroyed. This is such a pity, Renfu said. Chuchi said. Auntie Fu, would it be caused by Emo and Hei Wuren fighting? The temperature here is very high. There seems to be a fire element. Hei Wuren isn't fire element. If Emo is fighting, then he's probably fire element. Huh? Ren Lijin opened her mouth wide in shock for a while before saying, he only seems to be great extreme immortal. Even if he hid his power, he can't be a match for Hei Wuren, right? Renfu shook her head. This is hard to say. Emo is very mysterious and both of them aren't here. Regardless, we should hurry up and take what we can and leave. Emo used less than half the time to come back to the restriction stone door. But Emo didn't go out. He threw the 4 jade slips on the door and let the stone door open before hiding on the side. A day later, 3 figures acme here rapidly. Emo saw they were Renfu and them. They all had a joyful face. Clearly they were happy with what they got at the palace. The 3 didn't even think and left the door. Emo waited for another 2 hours before leaving the door too. He scanned his spirit sense out and found the 3 had left indeed. Emo stood at the door to the restriction. He waited for the 4 jade slips to fall. Chapter 1749, One's Person's Ruin. Chapter 1749, One's Person's Ruin. But soon, Emo was disappointed. He waited for 5 minutes but nothing came off. Emo shook his head in disappointment. He was planning to use Zisu to smash the door. The reason he was going to do this was because he didn't want other people to come in. Emo felt there were more things in this ancient ruin, but he just didn't find them yet. Plus, he didn't want Renfu bringing more people here. Thud. Emo didn't attack with full power, but when Zisu struck the stone door, it immediately sprouted some ripples. Emo felt that the position he was at was spinning. He really wanted to check with spirit sense, but he couldn't see anything around him. This was indeed space transition formation, but it was a bit different than he had thought. Yemo thought that the formation only took the door away, but it also took him too. 10 seconds later, the space nearby stabilized again. Yemo breathed easy. He was prepared to go into the golden page world if something was wrong, but now it didn't seem he need to. Clap, clap. When the space stabilized, Yemo found that the 4 jade slips fell down again. Yemo immediately picked them up. It seemed that when the jade slip was attached to the door, the transition formation would take the people nearby with it as well. But if the jade slip wasn't attached to the door, attacking the door would only cause the door to be taken. This way, the stone door would completely disappear. This ancient ruin was so meticulously designed. After getting these 4 jade slips, Yemo was overjoyed. If he didn't have a place to hide, this was the best place. Without the jade slip, no one can open that restriction door, no matter how powerful one was. If someone attacked the door by force without the jade slip, the door would immediately be transported to a new place. Yemo scanned his spirit sense out, and he found that there were no coarse stairs outside. The entrance restriction at the Immortal Graveyard Range was gone. He had a formation flag mark at the entrance, but he couldn't even sense it now. To be specific, in front of him was completely undug earth. Yemo wasn't going to dig those stairs. The Immortal King did that so his descendants could find this place, but he didn't need to. Only he needed to know here, this ruin becomes his alone. Yemo came out of the earth and found his position was still in the Immortal Graveyard Range. Yemo expanded his spirit sense domain and checked the nearby surrounding. This place was indeed not where he came in from and was quite far. Renfu and them were gone. He seemed to be the only one left here. Inchi flowed, making ghastly sounds. Yemo didn't stay here. He released Blue Moon and prepared to find a place for divine damnation. But after flying for 5 minutes, Yemo realized that his divine damnation would definitely be heavenly shocking. If he had divine damnation outside the Immortal Graveyard Range, it might startle powerful beings. Meanwhile, there was no one near the Immortal Graveyard Range. Thinking about this, Yemo threw out 500 million immortal crystals without hesitation. He knew he would need quite a bit immortal crystals to break through to Great Eternity Immortal. This place wasn't like the Flame River where he only needed to set up immortal spirit chi gathering formation. Luckily he had 3 billion immortal crystals. It was definitely enough. The 500 million immortal crystals were set up into a huge spirit gathering immortal formation. Then, Yemo added a stealth formation on top of that. When the divine damnation really came, this stealth immortal formation wouldn't help that much. It definitely wouldn't be able to stop Yemo's terrifying immortal spirit chi whirlpool, but for Yemo, even a little bit would help. Yemo had a few bottles of extreme Jia pills. They were all special grade. He ate the pills and ran the 3-birth chant at full power, charging at the bottleneck of Great Eternity Immortal. An invisible barrier formed in Yemo's will. Yemo just had to keep charging at these barriers, the barriers that stopped his breakthrough. It was invisible. For ordinary immortals, even if they want to break through, they would have to sense that barrier. If they can't even touch that barrier with their immortal essence and spirit sense, there was no way they can break it. This was the bottleneck. Sometimes, one wouldn't be able to pass it their entire life. Yemo cultivated till now, and every time he was at the peak stage of a big state, he could touch the barrier easily. He just needed to charge and break it. This time was the same time. In less than 3 days, his immortal essence swept all of his meridians and passed through his dantian. The Great Eternity Immortal Barrier was right before him. Rumble. Yemo's immortal essence just touched the barrier, and his immortal essence wasn't enough. A heavy crackle sounded in the air. His first wave of divine damnation was about to come. Crack, crack, crack. 36 explosions sounded. 36 bucket-sized lightning bolts rained down at the same time from all directions, striking Yemo. The Inchi nearby was completely torn apart. Inchi feared lightning, much less such terrifying lightning. With the Inchi fleeing away, the temperature of this place rose up immediately. Yemo released World Rock and Zisu and blocked 9 of the bolts. The rest of the 27 bolts all fell on Yemo instantly. Yemo's clothes turned to dust. Tearing sounds of flesh came, blood flew all over Yemo's body. Even though he was immortal spirit body, he couldn't take the 27 bolts without injury. Yemo knew these bolts were much stronger than the ones in the Flame River. Thud thud thud. Yemo was smashed into a pit by the lightning bolts. Even though not a single part of his skin was unharmed, Yemo didn't care. He had experience. The most dangerous part of his divine damnation was the first and second wave. After these two waves, the divine damnation wouldn't affect him at all. Yemo devoured the lightning source like crazy, and the mist formed by a few 100 million immortal crystals all rushed at Yemo. In the blink of an eye, Yemo was enveloped by immortal spirit chi. The 500 million immortal crystals kept cracking and turned to dust. At this moment, Yemo's meridians expanded greatly and devoured all the immortal spirit chi that came. Yemo's power rose rapidly. His immortal spirit chi was closer to that barrier and even begun charging at it. More and more immortal essence were added by Yemo charging at the barrier. Crack! The second wave of lightning bolts were here. Yemo guarded his mind. This second wave was the most dangerous. Seeing 48 thick bolts land, his heart felt heavy. He didn't break through to Great Eternity Immortal. It was really difficult to stop the 48 bolts. Without hesitation, Yemo released Octagonal Cauldron again, and 108 Lightning Sword. Zisu and World Rock blocked 9, Octagonal Cauldron could only block 1. The 108 Lightning Swords could only weaken 9 lightning bolts. In that instant, Yemo's position was blasted with lightning. Magic artifact chimed and Yemo was covered by lightning. Chapter 1750, Level 8 Immortal Artifact. Chapter 1750, Level 8 Immortal Artifact Crack. Yemo's fake octagonal cauldron crashed with the lightning bolt and instantly split apart into pieces, but the lightning bolt was barely stopped. The lightning swords and lightning bolts clashed too. Lightning exploded and the nearby space was permeated with lightning. 29 lightning bolts struck Yemo's body, pushing him deeper into the ground. The instant these bolts hit Yemo, his immortal essence suddenly surged up and broke open the barrier. Then, the weakened 9 lightning bolts also fell. There was just 2 seconds difference between the first 29 bolts. The terrifying immortal essence needed to break through to Great Eternity Immortal was shown now. Most of the 29 bolts and the 9 weakened bolts were devoured by Yemo. Yemo didn't have the time to be happy. He just devoured the immortal spirit chi like crazy. Every divine damnation, if he wasn't killed by it, it would be a feast for him. The immortal crystals in the formation kept cracking as the immortal spirit chi spilled were devoured along with the lightning source by Yemo. Yemo's injuries also recovered rapidly. In just 15 minutes, his body had completely recovered. Feeling the immortal spirit chi digesting speed of Great Eternity Immortal, Yemo rested easy. The second wave had passed, and he reached Great Eternity Immortal. This meant that he didn't have to worry about the next waves of divine damnation. As expected, the later lightning bolts still came more than 10 at once, but it was nothing much but a ticklet for Yemo. The last immortal crystals on the spirit-gathering immortal formation cracked. Yemo looked at the sky in disappointment. He reached Great Eternity Immortal, but not a sliver of immortal spirit chi cloud fell. It could only be said that he was lucky he had the immortal spirit chi cloud last time. Perhaps it was due to the location being the endless flame river. Yemo had decided to have his immortal king divine damnation in the void fissure. Perhaps there he would get immortal spirit chi cloud again. His power wasn't very stable yet. Yemo wanted to cultivate for a few days and consolidate his power. However, the immortal crystals had been used up. Yemo didn't take out more immortal crystals to cultivate here. He put away the formation flags and went underground to go into the Golden Page world. In the Golden Page world, Yemo used another 100 million immortal crystals to set up a spirit-gathering immortal formation. He just reached Great Eternity Immortal and his immortal essence was spilling out. This was not good for hiding his cultivation level. Yemo was about to go back to Changrong Heaven. Anyone would be suspicious of him for reaching Great Eternity Immortal from Great Extreme Immortal in a few years. Yemo didn't use Time Formation Disc to consolidate his power. 2 months later, Yemo had completely consolidated his power. There was still 7 months till the time he agreed to meet up with Li Kun. With the help of the immortal spirit herbs Li Kun gave him, Emo reached Immortal Pill Grand Master, but unfortunately, he didn't have any more level 7 immortal spirit herbs left for pill concoction. With this, Emo decided to spend his time to study that refined star rock. Even till now, Emo doubted if it was real. The chi of the rock did seem similar to what was on the books, but it also said these rocks came from refining planets. Sometimes, a huge planets might only get a 30 cultivation method stone. This stone was 3 meters. The refined star rock could only be melted with immortal flame. Under the severing of the blue like morning sky, Emo found he easily cut open the rock. Emo's heart sunk. He hadn't used this rock to forge immortal artifact, but he knew it definitely wouldn't be cut open so easily. This meant that this rock might be fake. Seeing this, his heart was filled with disappointment. Emo looked carefully at the rock he cut down. It seemed better than Void's secret silver, but not that much better. This meant this was at most level 7 immortal material. In his disappointment, Emo stopped. He finally got a good material to upgrade Zisu, but under scrutiny, he found it wasn't refined star rock. Emo was Immortal Forgery Grand Master now, and could even Forbidden Grounds level 8 immortal artifact. He really wanted to upgrade Zisu, but if he only had material equivalent to Void's secret silver, then never mind. Just when Emo wanted to put away the heaven flame, he felt something wasn't right. If this was really only level 7 immortal material, he should be able to put it in his storage ring, but he couldn't before. Thinking about this, Emo threw the piece he cut off into the storage ring. This time, it was easily taken in. Emo immediately realized what was going on and kept cutting this stone with blue like morning sky. Many hours later, a 60 centimeters dark red ore appeared before Emo. This ore had much denser chi than the pieces he cut off before. It had this terrifying and ancient calling. Blue like morning sky couldn't melt this one easily. This was the real refined star rock. Emo resisted his excitement. Just like his world rock, this refined star rock was covered with something. With this, Emo had decided to cut half and use it upgrade Zisu. 3 days later, Emo could only give up on cutting it in half. He chose to cut a tenth. 6 days later, Emo gave up a tenth and chose to cut a baby fist-sized. This stone was too hard to cut. 2 months later, Emo barely melted the fist-sized refined star rock. Emo took out Zisu. Before he even put the two near each other, Zisu vibrated itself. Clearly, this rock was extremely suitable. Emo fused the met-lead refined star rock into Zisu. Zisu immediately began to change, but soon he found something wasn't right. Even with his help, TI was very hard for Zisu to upgrade. He couldn't control the shape, nor could he completely fuse the rock into Zisu. If he couldn't fuse it into Zisu, the chi would be exposed like the blue moon in the cultivation realm when he first added the Kun scale. In the cultivation realm he could use it, but in the immortal realm Emo definitely didn't dare to use Zisu in this state. It was probably because his power and flame level were too low. Even his immortal forgery skills were too low. Realizing this, Emo used his immortal essence like crazy and even started to burn it. He couldn't care about the look of Zisu now. The most important thing was to fuse the refined star rock completely into Zisu. Another 3 months passed. Zisu made a crisp sound and spun above Emo's head. Emo breathed easy. He finally completely fused the refined star rock into Zisu. Zisu was upgraded to level 8 immortal artifact. The only pity was that the beautiful Zisu was forged into a magic artifact that was uglier than a kitchen knife. It looked like a strange butcher knife. Emo shook his head. He didn't even use the pretty Zisu for a while, and it became uglier. At least it was many times stronger than before. Emo got up and was ready to go to Changrong Heaven. There was still 2 months left. He could take the teleportation formation, but time was short. But then, Emo was at a loss for words. He found he couldn't send Zisu into his storage ring. This meant that he could only put Zisu in the Golden Page world. How could this be? Putting it in the Golden Page world was inconvenient. If people noticed the existence of the Golden Page world, it wasn't good. Helplessly, he could only forge a simple sheath and put Zisu inside and hung the sheath on his back. Chapter 1751 Enemies Meet Again. Chapter 1751 Enemies meet again in an extremely large room in the Flying Dawn Immortal Tower. At least 10 people were waiting here. Yemo knew most of them. They included Li Kun, Ji Shu, In Hui, Chi Baitsang, Jiu Rian, and Li Kun's martial brother Sai Shiu. Ethereal Immortal Pan Ning Yu and that brother Chen also sat here. There were also a few Yemo hadn't seen before. The room seemed heavy. After a long while, Ning Yu sighed. Sister Shiu, we've waited for 2 days and your brother still isn't here. If we keep waiting we might miss the immortal ship. Li Kun fell silent for a moment and said, I said I would wait for him. If I go now and he comes without seeing me here, he would be worried. How about this, martial sister Ning Yu will go first. Shiu goddess can wait for her brother here. If we're short on time, we can go first and make the immortal ship wait for a while first. The handsome man next to Ning Yu said. A few people heard this and immediately nodded in agreement. Li Kun's face sunk. She said plainly. Since martial brother Fang Chun is in a rush, you guys can leave first. I'll wait here alone. Chi Baitsang sneered. Martial brother Fang's influence is really great, even the immortal ship can listen to you and wait. I admire you. Clearly most people knew that Fang Chun claiming he could make the immortal ship wait was bullshit. The handsome man didn't seem to hear this, and still had a face of smile. A purple-robed goddess sitting next to Ning Yu with her face covered said calmly, Martial sister Ning Yu will wait another half day. If Yemo still doesn't come we'll go. Yes. Ning Yu and another female immortal immediately nodded. Clearly they were very respectful to her. Haha, brother Yi is here. Jishu suddenly laughed. Yemo appeared at the door of the room. He was confused. Li Kun said to go find Ping Yu immortal fruit with him. Why were there so many people? Then, he saw Chi Baitsang and them and immediately went up to greet them. The atmosphere brightened up. But only Ji Shu and them greeted Yemo. The rest of them didn't move. These were all great eternity immortal here and Yemo was only a great extreme immortal. I knew you would make it. You broke through again. Li Kun looked at Yemo joyfully. She saw Yemo reach Great Extreme Immortal Middle Stage from Great Extreme Immortal Primary Stage. She was planning to introduce the others to him, but since they couldn't be bothered waiting, she couldn't be bothered. Yemo showed an awkward look and sound transmission to Li Kun. Sister Shiu, I've actually hidden my power. I've reached Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage a few years ago, but I've hid my power to Great Extreme Immortal Middle Stage. The room fell silent, and then instantly burst into laughter. Some were benign, some were malicious. The weakest here was Great Eternity Immortal Middle Stage Peak, the rest were either Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage or Halfway Immortal King. Yemo was a Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage and still hid his power. This was funny indeed. This wasn't the funniest, the sword on Yemo's back clearly didn't look like something good just looking at the sheath. Yet he put such a sword on his back to show off. Everyone here wasn't simple, they at least had top-grade immortal artifact, or even extreme-grade immortal artifact. Yemo didn't care about these laughter. If he was willing, people definitely wouldn't be able to hear his sound transmission. He just wanted to reveal his true power, and thus spilled his sound transmission. Li Kun was very shocked, she knew how powerful Yemo was. Yemo was no weaker than any Great Eternity Immortal Peak stage. She suspected Yemo hid his power, but she knew that if Yemo really wanted to only sound transmission to her. The only explanation was that Yemo did it intentionally. Did Yemo really reach Great Eternity Immortal in 5 years? This was too shocking. Li Kun was very smart, and immediately knew why Yemo did this. She pretended to be unhappy and said, You're the weakest here. What is there to hide? Oh. There was extreme embarrassment on Yemo's face. He breathed easy, he knew Li Kun would be suspicious but he didn't worry. He trusted his eyes that Li Kun wouldn't mention it. Haha, brother Yi, you tricked me so hard. I really thought you were Great Extreme Immortal. So you're actually a great eternity immortal. Your stealth cultivation method is quite good. Jishu laughed. Then, Yin Hui, Chi Baitsang, Jiu Rian and them complimented Yi Mo's stealth cultivation method. Jiu Rian said joyfully, I was wondering why you knew something about great eternity immortal cultivation. So you're great eternity immortal already. Martial brother Yi, I will be troubling you more in the future. Yi Mo quickly said. It's fine, if I know I won't keep it a secret. Another reason he revealed his power is because little immortal king would definitely know he killed his great eternity immortal middle stage henchman. It wasn't rare for great eternity immortal primary stage to kill great eternity immortal middle stage, but if a great extreme immortal primary stage killed a great eternity immortal middle stage, this would definitely arouse suspicion. Ning Yiyu's face was expressionless. Seeing her with the handsome great eternity immortal, Mo knew that ethereal immortal pawn probably chose a new saint. Fang Chen got up and said, Since everyone is here we should hurry up. We'll discuss on the immortal ship. Where are we going? Mo asked. Li Kun smiled and gave Mo a jade card. This is the card I got for you. Take it, we're taking immortal ship to the first heaven domain Qingwei heaven and listen to the arrangements of immortal emperor. Seeing Mo being confused, Chi Baitsang patted his shoulder. Brother, you don't underestimate this card. Not anyone can get this, your sister spent quite some effort to get this. Mo still asked. Since we're going to Qingwei heaven, why not take teleportation formation? Li Kun explained. Because we still have mission this time. It would take around 1 year to go to Qingwei heaven. During this time, all the immortals with the jade card must capture void flying snow. Only the top 1,000 can get to see Immortal Emperor Master. Mo immediately wasn't too willing to go. Plus Qingwei heaven is very far. If we all take teleportation formation there, ordinary immortals won't be able to afford it. Jiu Rian said. Mo nodded. Li Kun did this for his benefit. If he didn't go, Li Kun wouldn't be able to decide it even if she got the fruit. Mo thought that when he was great extreme immortal primary stage, that middle-aged man still didn't find the golden page world. Now he was great eternity immortal. As long as he kept his golden page world in the depth of his sea of consciousness, even the immortal emperor wouldn't be able to find it. Thinking about this, Mo breathed easy. Everyone went to the teleportation formation to go to Fendu Heaven's Jiakui immortal city. The immortal ship was stationed there. Hearing everyone's discussion, Mo realized that Qingwei Heaven's position was like Yuanla Heaven in the Middle Heaven domain. It was the Num-1 Heaven domain in the Grand Heaven domains. It was extremely far from the other 10 Grand Heaven domains and needed to cross the realm border. This super long-distance teleportation formation is insanely expensive. At the same time, Mo knew the purple-robed female immortal is the new saint of ethereal immortal pond, Miyun. Mo had heard of the Fandu Heaven. When he was in the pond in the Chaos Star realm, the skeleton told him to kill 9 Fan immortal ponds Eugene Xiang. He rejected it immediately. He was only a golden immortal at the time. There was no way Mo was going to 9 Fan immortal pond. He couldn't be bothered asking where it was either. After coming to the immortal city, Mo followed them to the place where the immortal ship was. When they got there, the place was filled with immortals from other heaven domains. Most of them were Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage, some were Great Eternity Immortal Middle Stage. It's you? A cold voice sounded. Mo shook upon hearing this voice. He knew this voice all too well. He turned around and it was the young Yan Jiutian who stood before him. Chapter 1752, Yan Jiutian's Secret. Chapter 1752, Yan Jiutian's Secret. Intense killing intent came from Yan Jiutian. Mo clenched his fists. He knew why Yan Jiutian wanted to kill him, but what made him feel unacceptable was that Yan Jiutian's cultivation level was higher than his Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage. Mo was certain he saw right. Mo bit his lips with a calm face, but his heart was rumbling. No matter how talented Yan Jiutian was, how could he be Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage? This was impossible. When he got the time formation disc, that weakened essence spirit said his time formation disk couldn't be found in the immortal realm. If he didn't have time formation disk, where did Yan Zhoutian's power come from? Yemo had time formation disk and was constantly looking for resources. His fortunes were very good too. On top of that, he AHD'd the Golden Page World and Bitter Bamboo. Only then did he reach Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage. This speed was unparalleled, and yet Yan Zhoutian was faster than him. Even if Yan Zhoutian had the time formation disk and top-grade cultivation resource, he couldn't reach Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage. His foundation wasn't stable, nor was his mind state. This was a big taboo for cultivation. There was no way a prodigy like Yan Zhoutian didn't know this. You hid power last time like me. I was wondering how there could be an abstruse immortal as powerful as you. Yemo stared at Yan Zhoutian and said. Yan Zhoutian's eyes shot out with icy coldness and said, I trust one didn't see wrong last time. You definitely didn't hide your power like last time. Your cultivation speed is so fast that I don't dare to believe. I'll tell you this, I didn't hide my power last time as well. Yemo's eyes narrowed. He knew that Yan Zhoutian didn't fear at all. Yan Zhoutian was certain he didn't dare to spill his secrets. Yemo's killing intent also rose and stared at Yan Zhoutian. His killing intent rushed over like crazy too. Did your little worm get crushed to death last time? Yemo felt happy seeing Yan Zhoutian's killing intent seep out like crazy. He was certain Yan Zhoutian didn't dare to fight here. As expected, Yan Zhoutian's face went black hearing this. A dark mist rotated around his wrist. Yan Zhoutian seemed to be able to control himself very well. That black mist just spun once and disappeared. Yemo frowned. He suddenly had this strange feeling. He knew that mist was Yan Zhoutian's trump card and best magic artifact. But this time when he saw the mist, he had a familiar feeling, not because he fought with it before. Haha, what little worm! Chi Baitsung laughed, and stood by Yemo's side. Then he looked challengingly at Yan Zhoutian. Chi Baitsung saw Yan Zhoutian's killing intent for Yemo. Yan Zhoutian sneered. He glanced at Chi Baitsung and said, I hope you're as lucky next time. I will let you know the consequence of taking my things. Then he turned to leave. He knew he couldn't fight here. Kid, you're very cocky. Do you think you're Heaven Domain Heaven Lord or Ancient Divine Emperor? Idiot, you're just a mere Great Eternity Immortal. Why are you so cocky? Chi Baitsung spat. Yan Zhoutian was furious. His killing intent went crazy and that black mist appeared at his wrist again, but he still forbeared this time. Hearing Chi Baitsung's words, Yemo suddenly woke up. He finally remembered that familiar feeling. Yan Zhoutian's black mist line had this ancient chi that was similar to the ruin in the Immortal Graveyard Range. This meant that Yan Zhoutian's line probably came from the ancient ruin, but when he saw Yan Zhoutian he was only abstruse immortal. What right did an abstruse immortal have to touch ancient ruin? Even if he went there and obtained the black mist, how could he use it so easily and fluently? Yemo saw with his own eyes how Yan Zhoutian could change the black mist into spear, arrows, rivers. Yemo had used Zisu for decades, but his control of Zisu was far weaker than Yan Zhoutian's control of the black line. Yemo had the feeling that the black line was a part of Yan Zhoutian. How old was Yan Zhoutian? Yemo was certain that Yan Zhoutian was younger than him. How could such a young person have such experience in controlling an ancient black mist? Yemo thought of his first encounter with Yan Zhoutian. He called himself immortal. According to what Yemo knew, all immortals below great immortals were considered cultivators and didn't have the right to call themselves immortals. Of course, there were shameless heaven immortals who called themselves immortals. Clearly, Yan Zhoutian wasn't this type. Thinking about how young Yan Zhoutian was and how fast he progressed, Yemo suspected that Yan Zhoutian was possessed. Yan Zhoutian's essence spirit before possession was very complete. He didn't need to possess to recover his body, but he chose possession. If this was really it, Yan Zhoutian's cultivation speed could be explained. An ancient immortal had the ability to recover his body, but instead he chose possession. This meant that the target was definitely the best amongst best talent. Such person had no bottleneck. He would be able to keep progressing if he had resource, or perhaps recover his power. Last time he met Yan Jiutian, there was one small level difference, but now, there was two small level difference. The next time they met, the difference would probably be even greater. Yemo was desperate, but there was nothing he could do. No wonder he could know space law when he was abstruse immortal. What worried Yemo more was if this person recognized the World Rock. He just hoped that since World Rock was spirit-controlled by him and Yan Jiutian's power was too weak at the time, that he didn't have the time to check his World Rock during battle. But Yemo knew quite possibly that Yan Jiutian might have recognized it. Yemo, what are you thinking? It's a mere great eternity immortal tertiary stage, no need to be scared of him. Chi Baitsang patted Yemo, who was frowning in thought. What's wrong? Li Kun and them all came over. Yemo shook his head. Nothing, I met an unfriendly person, never mind. Seeing this, the people deigned ask. They discussed about how to capture void flying snow. The group gathered together in discussion. Yemo didn't listen in at all. His spirit sense net improved greatly. He would be able to capture void flying snow easily. Yemo suddenly asked, if you can control a law and use that law to capture void flying snow, would it be very easy? Li Kun looked at Yemo in confusion. She knew Yemo knew a sliver of space law, but she warned Yemo to not tell anyone. What was Yemo doing now? Jishu shook his head. First of all, it's extremely hard for great immortal to control law. Even if they can, it would only be a sliver. That would still be very hard to use to capture void flying snow. What law is the strongest? Yemo asked. Everyone was used to how clueless Yemo was. Unexpectedly, the saint from Ethereal Immortal Pond said, in fact, any law is the most terrifying power in the universe if you cultivate it to the extreme. Of course, if you had to divide it, then for us low-grade immortals, time law is probably his strongest. Yemo felt strange the saint didn't laugh at him and instead explained to him, but he continued asking. Thank you, Martial Sister Saint, for enlightening me. Then if you cultivate space law to the extreme, would it be not as powerful as time law? Yemo asked the most idiotic question and people couldn't be bothered looking down on him, but they all felt strange why Ethereal Immortal Pond Saint would answer him. The saint thought for a moment and replied seriously. In fact, if you cultivate space law to the extreme, it's no weaker than time law, but no one has been able to. Then since the ancient times, which people in the immortal realm have great mastery over space law and time law? Yemo finally asked the question he wanted to ask. If Yan Jiutian was possessed by an ancient immortal and could control a sliver of space law as abstruse immortal, this meant he was previously a powerful being who controlled space law. Chapter 1753, A Mere Grand Emperor. Chapter 1753, A Mere Grand Emperor, a great eternity immortal whom Yemo didn't help the saint answer. It's probably Truth Divine Emperor who knows time law the most. Other than him, there's Scorched Divine Emperor. He can even make time flow backwards. Compared to time law, there are much more powerful beings who know space law, such as Ancient Peng Emperor, Dallas Grand Emperor, Wushuang Grand Emperor, Lin Gu Grand Emperor. Yemo saluted with his fists. Thank you, Martial Brother. I know Truth Divine Emperor, Peng Emperor and Wushuang Grand Emperor. But who is Scorched Divine Emperor, Dallas Grand Emperor and Lin Gu Grand Emperor? Seeing that Yemo was low cultivation level and didn't know much but seemed very respectful, he nodded in satisfaction. Some people who didn't know this also listened on the side. Scorched Divine Emperor's name is Bai Zhuehe. It said he has the number 2 rare flame of the world, Astral River Red. It also reached God Flame and devoured Astral Flame Marrow, becoming the King of Flames. He used God Flame to vindicate Tao and is a powerful being just below Truth Divine Emperor. It's said that after the battle with Truth Divine Emperor, he never appeared again. Hearing this, everyone sighed. At their level, Truth Divine Emperor and Scorched Divine Emperor were Tao vindication divinities, but they still died. One could see that in the vast universe, there were no immortals who wouldn't die. Great Eternity Immortal saw everyone was listening in and continued. Daoist Grand Emperor's name is Yen Wu Dao. He came later than Truth Divine Emperor and Scorched Divine Emperor. He's also a very powerful being. In the ancient cosmos, powerful beings weren't as rare as today. There were tens of half-divine emperors. It's said he disappeared after Tao vindication failure. Hearing Taoist Grand Emperor's surname was Yin, Emo wanted to keep asking, but someone asked first. Scorched Divine Emperor vindicated Tao through God Flame. How did Taoist Grand Emperor vindicate Tao? Taoist Grand Emperor was extremely talented. His Tao vindication method is something others don't even dare to think. Everyone listened in wanting to know what it was. The Great Eternity Immortal sighed. Taoist Grand Emperor is indeed a rare prodigy of the heavens. He wanted to use the 33 heavens to vindicate his Tao. No one can understand his prodigy idea, but one thing is certain. If he could vindicate Tao through the 33 heaven domains, his power would be unimaginable. Yimo didn't understand how that would work, and neither did the rest of the people. That Great Eternity Immortal said. No one can understand that. It's said that Taoist Grand Emperor suddenly failed after vindicating the 24th heaven domain and died. Ever since then, there was no news of Taoist Grand Emperor. The Great Eternity Immortal continued to talk about Lin Gu Grand Emperor, but Yemo was 80% certain that Yan Jiutian was Taoist Grand Emperor. After vindicating 24 heaven domains, he was 9 heaven domains away from success. This had become his obsession. He chose the name Yan Jiutian, 9 heavens, probably because he still wants to vindicate the 33 heavens. Yemo heard the Great Eternity Immortal say that the Taoist Grand Emperor only cared about his own thoughts, and thus offended many people. Yemo thought this meant that Yan Jiutian wouldn't dare to let others know who he was. Yemo finally rested easy a little now. Yemo suddenly thought of one thing and saluted with his fists, asking, "Martial brother, I heard you said Scorched Divine Emperor used God Flame Astral River Red to devour Astral Flame Marrow. What does Astral Flame Marrow look like? I saw in an ancient jade slip that Astral Flame Marrow is a soft or that is very high temperature. Is this true?" The Great Eternity Immortal smiled and shook his head. No, the reason Astral Flame Marrow is rare is because it's very hard to grow. The soft tofu-like structure you mentioned is the first state of the Astral Flame Marrow. These usually exist in very desolate places in the immortal realm, or some cultivation realm. If it's in the cultivation realm, this state of the Astral Flame Marrow is the hardest to collect. Even the truth realization state cultivators wouldn't be able to get near it. However, this state of Astral Flame River is the most precious. If you get it, and use it to Nirvana Heaven Flame, it would be the best. When this flame grows to a certain level in the cultivation realm, it would gradually expand its range until burning a radius of 100 million km till everything in the entire realm. Then it would hide into the void. Only Astral Flame Marrow that hides into the void is real Astral Flame Marrow. It would be stealthed and protected by Void Flame. Ordinary people wouldn't even be able to see it. Even if they see it, they wouldn't be able to get it. That's why it's so precious. In this state, the marrow would gradually lose its temperature. When it matures to a certain level, it would be covered by void flame outside while the inside is liquid. This liquid is extremely cold but doesn't form ice. Only this is true void flame marrow. Yemo suppressed his excitement and saluted with his fists in gratitude. He didn't expect he accidentally got Astral Flame Marrow in the first state, and used it to Nirvana blue like morning sky. Suddenly, an extremely loud voice sounded. Those with a card participating in the fight for Pengyu Immortal Fruit get on the ship. Yemo had been on the Immortal ship many times, but this was the first time he saw one this big. There were 1,000,000 Immortals, but each had a good cultivation room. Yemo got one too. It was large and there were 2 rooms. The Immortal Spirit Chi was very dense too. The Grand Heaven Domain was indeed different. Now, everyone went into their own cultivation room. Yemo stayed inside his thinking about things. He wasn't going to cultivate as he would need too much resources. Yemo only sat in his room for 2 hours or so, and the restriction on the door was touched. Yemo waved it open and Yan Jiutian quickly came in and set up his own barrier restriction. Yemo got up and stared at Yan Jiutian coldly. He wasn't afraid of him. Yan Jiutian didn't dare to fight in here. Even if he did, Emo didn't believe he would lose. When he was abstruse immortal middle stage, Yan Jiutian was abstruse immortal tertiary stage. They were almost evenly matched. Although Yan Jiutian was 2 levels higher than him now, he learned a few powerful god arts coming out of the Tao-seeking tower. Emo didn't dare to underestimate this Yan Jiutian, however. He was a half-divine emperor. He probably knew much more about god art than him. It was probably very hard to win Yan Jiutian. You have quite some secrets. I thought that World Rock was your biggest secret, but you also have Time Formation Disc. If I'm not wrong, Truth Divine Emperor's Time Formation Disc is on you, right? Yan Jiutian's voice was so bleak that it made Emo feel he went back to the immortal graveyard range. Emo's heart sunk. Yan Jiutian indeed knew about the World Rock and now even the Time Formation Disc. But it wasn't hard to guess. Without the Time Formation Disc, how could he cultivate so fast? Yan Jiutian's voice was even colder. Give me Time Formation Disc and Spirit Will 9 transformations, I'll let you live. Yan Jiutian didn't ask for World Rock. He knew that Emo would definitely not give him that. Although the World Rock was far from as precious as the Time Formation Disc, but World Rock was what Emo relied upon for survival. Looking at Emo's contemptuous gaze, Yan Jiutian wasn't worried at all and continued. If you infuriate me, I'll just say you have World Rock and Time Formation Disc. Even if I don't get it, you will be dead for certain. Emo sneered and pointed outside. Go say it, I'll be waiting. Yan Jiutian's eyes narrowed. He didn't expect Emo wasn't afraid of this. Did this guy know that he didn't want others to know the Time Formation Disc appeared? The Time Formation Disc was much more important to him than Emo. At least to Immortal Emperor, he would have no bottleneck. He just needed to convert cultivation resource to power. You're not scared? Yan Jiutian's killing intent rose, forming invisible ripple around the space. I even took Truth Divine Emperor's World Rock. Why would I be scared of a mere Taoist Grand Emperor? You overestimate yourself. Emo sneered. Yan Jiutian's face changed. Immediately a black mist line appeared with screeching killing intent. Yan Jiutian's face changed. Immediately a black mist line appeared with screeching killing intent. Emo sneered and his power also rose. Yan Jiutian eventually didn't attack. That black mist slowly retreated. But he didn't look at Emo with just killing intent, there was deep concern too. He knew that he couldn't kill Emo here. If he attacked, it would startle the immortal ship people. If his identity was spilled, he would have no place to bury himself, much less vindicate Tao. How did you know who I am? Yan Jiutian put up a few more restrictions and asked coldly. Emo felt great. Yan Jiutian knew some of his secret, but comparatively, he knew more his Yan Jiutian's secret. He could deny he had Time Formation Disc, but Yan Jiutian couldn't deny he was Taoist Grand Emperor. How I know that isn't important. More importantly, I know that you'll probably have to chance your name and face after coming back from Qingwei Heaven. Emo sneered at Yan Jiutian. Someone like Yan Jiutian wouldn't talk to others. Even if he had to contact them, he wouldn't use the same identity. If it wasn't for the Pingyu immortal fruit, Emo knew Yan Jiutian probably wouldn't come. But Yan Jiutian probably never even dreamed that an abstruse immortal he saw in the Middle Heaven domain would be on the same boat to Qingwei Heaven a few decades later. Yan Jiutian didn't answer and just asked Emo again. How did you know it? Who do you think you are? I need to tell you. Piff off, otherwise don't blame me for attacking, Taoist Grand Emperor. Emo said plainly. Shut up. The veins on Yan Jiutian's head was bulging. He was scared of Emo calling him Taoist Grand Emperor the most. Really? I'm going to call you Taoist Grand Emperor. When I go out, everyone on the immortal ship will know that Taoist Grand Emperor is here. Emo laughed, not taking Yan Jiutian's threat seriously. Die. Yan Jiutian couldn't resist the fury in his heart. Ever since he came out, when was he threatened like this? His black mist turned into a very fine needle that was 10 meters long. Emo's room wasn't big, but this long needle had completely bound the space in Emo's room. Emo didn't dodge. Yan Jiutian used to be an immortal emperor. Even if he couldn't use immortal king domain, he was able to seal the space nearby with his great eternity immortal tertiary stage power. Plus, this person was experienced in space law. At the same time, Yemo's world rock fell. He used almost 80% of his immortal essence on his first attack. He didn't dare to take Yan Jiutian lightly. Although the world rock looked very scary when falling down, it wasn't a real god art. Yemo knew this wasn't a life and death battle. Yan Jiutian didn't use full power, he didn't need to as well. He just needed to create a big scene. Seeing Yemo act like this, Yan Jiutian's face changed. Yemo's immortal essence was far beyond his expectation. If the world rock fell like this, even if he smashed the world rock to the side, it would startle other people. He was scared of that the most. He had concerns, but Yemo didn't. Even if Yemo had time formation disk, he only needed to hand it out, and he might be able to live, but he would be dead for sure. Instantly, Yan Jiutian took back the black mist lion and changed into a net stop the world rock. Yan Jiutian knew that Yemo's immortal essence was only that much weaker than his. This meant he couldn't instantly kill Yemo. Stop, there's no benefit in fighting for either of us, Yan Jiutian yelled. Yemo sneered but didn't have any intentions of stopping, while his immortal essence kept urging the world rock as though preparing for the next attack. He said coldly, "If you want to fight, then we fight. If you want to stop, then we stop. Who do you think you are?" Yan Jiutian knew that Yemo was only threatening him, otherwise Yemo could release his sword. He was furious, but he could only say, "Stop first, we'll discuss." Yemo didn't take back the world rock and kept exerting pressure while saying, "What's there to discuss between us? I only have a world rock. If the immortal king wants it, then take it. I don't care. By the way, I didn't get the time formation disk, believe it or not, up to you." Yemo's world rock broke free from the net, and was going to smash down. Yemo was never going to admit the time formation disk. Even though Yan Jiutian was certain it was on him, he wasn't going to admit it. "Stop, I'll agree to a condition of yours." Yan Jiutian eventually succumbed. He was beginning to suspect if Yemo really got the time formation disk. If Yemo got the time formation disk, he should be scared to show it. "Oh, okay then." Yemo let the world rock hover above his head. Yan Jiutian knew Yemo was acting, but there was nothing he could do. To him, his life wasn't on the same level as Yemo's life. Even 10,000 Yemo wasn't worth his life. If this idiot brought out the powerful beings on the immortal ship, he would be over. Seeing Yemo stop fighting, Yan Jiutian was about to leave. He regretted coming here. He should have found an opportunity in the void to kill Yemo. "I haven't said my condition, are you going to go?" Yemo said plainly. Yan Jiutian turned around. The fury was gone. He said calmly, "Say it." "I paid a heavy price to come to the Grand Heaven Domain. How did you come up here?" Yemo asked. "Because I have a low-grade god artifact time-space boat," Yan Jiutian said. "Low-grade god artifact?" Yemo was immediately interested. Even though he refined Blue Moon many times and brought it to top-grade flying immortal artifact, it wasn't enough compared to god artifact. If he had low-grade god artifact, he would be able to fly from Grand Heaven Domain to Middle Heaven Domain in 5 years and Middle to Low Heaven Domain in a year. He needed this desperately, otherwise taking Immortal ship would take decades to get from Grand to Middle Heaven Domain, and the ticket was a fortune. Seeing Yemo about to drool, Yan Jiutian said in contempt, "Time-space boat has countless replicas," Yemo said with joy. "Yours is the real one, right?" "Mine is only an ordinary replica," Yan Jiutian said calmly. He'll leave it with Yemo for a few days. He wasn't afraid he couldn't kill Yemo in the void. Yemo was shook. Even a replica low-grade god artifact was this powerful. How powerful was the real one? Yemo looked at Yan Jiutian and said, "Give me your time-space boat and you can go. I won't spill your identity." Unexpectedly, Yan Jiutian threw an extremely pretty boat to Yemo without hesitation and left. Yemo destroyed Yan Jiutian's restriction and closed the door before setting up his own restriction. He knew what Yan Jiutian thought. The reason he gave it to him so quickly was because he considered him dead. But Yin Jiutian can keep dreaming if he thought he would be able to get back things from his hands. Unless Yin Jiutian reached Immortal King, otherwise he wouldn't be able to stop him. Even if he can't beat Yin Jiutian wouldn't be able to keep him. Yemo scanned his spirit sense in the boat. There seemed to be countless restriction. Yemo was afraid Li Kun and them would come for him, so he hung a solitary cultivation card outside the door before going in the room to spirit control the space-time boat. Anything could happen in the void, he would be able to use this to escape. Yen Jiutian was extra careful while controlling this boat. He found all the marks that Yen Jiutian left on the boat. A month passed quickly. During this time Li Kun, Ji Shu, Chi Baitsang and them came to see Emo, but seeing the solitary cultivation card, they could only leave speechlessly. A month passed quickly. During this time Li Kun, Ji Shu, Chi Baitsang and them came to see Emo, but seeing the solitary cultivation card, they could only leave speechlessly. There were very little people who even cultivated on the immortal ship, much less go into solitary cultivation. This ship was going to stop halfway and then people would be going out to capture void flying snow. There were very little people like Yemo who used even this time. However, they did admire Yemo's hard-working attitude. Li Kun came to Yemo a few times, but Yemo was always in solitary cultivation. Seeing that the time for capturing void flying snow was coming, Li Kun was desperate, but there was nothing she could do. 2 months later. The time-space boat in Yemo's hands buzzed and the dark blue color receded. Everything inside it cleared appeared in Yemo's brain. Yemo was overjoyed. He had completely spirit-controlled this time-space boat. The inside space was tens of times larger than Blue Moon and the layout was also very grand. Spirit-gathering immortal formations were already set up. One only needed to put immortal crystals inside to use. Even the defense formation was far stronger than Blue Moon's. There were all sorts of sensory formations too. It was like the void flying snow and could avoid dangers in the void. At the tail of the boat, there was 2 propelling formations. If the time-space boat went forward at full speed, these propelling formations would activate and accelerate the time-space boat. What Yemo liked the most about the void location disk at the front was that although it couldn't pinpoint the exact location in the void, but it could point the approximate location of each heaven domain as well as its name. It might not be as fast as the void flying snow in the void, but the void flying snow was a headless fly in the void. After flying for a few decades it might get back to where it started, but the time-space boat had a clear direction and can be controlled. Yemo was very happy with this. He finally had a decent flying magic artifact. Even a fake time-space boat was this powerful, then just how powerful was the real one? That magic artifact would on the same level as his time formation disk. Thinking about this, Yemo realized that although he had a lot of insane treasures, most of them are supplementary. He didn't have a real offensive and defensive treasure. He upgraded Zisu relentlessly before finally bringing it to a level 8 immortal artifact. The World Rock was just a small rock on the World Rock. The only decent magic artifact was the How Heaven Drum, but Yemo didn't dare to use it. If he did, then even an idiot would know he got the How Heaven heritage. He lacked a defensive magic artifact, Yemo sighed. He was a level 8 immortal forgery grandmaster, and could forge a top-grade defensive immortal artifact, but that really wasn't exciting for Yemo. After sighing, Yemo put away the time-space boat and took off the solitary cultivation card. Just when Yemo wanted to go find Li Kun, he saw the ethereal immortal pond saint come over to him. Yemo quickly saluted with his fists. "Greet martial sister saint." The saint helped him a lot. If it wasn't for her, he might not even know Yen Jiutian was Taoist Grand Emperor. That way, he would be the one threatened this time. Under that situation, he might even lose the time formation disk. "Martial brother, you just call me Mi-yun. I want to have a sit in your room, is that okay?" Mi-yun smiled. Her tone was very soft and charming. Yemo didn't know why she came to him, but she didn't look at him with scorn like others and answered his questions too. "Martial sister Mi-yun, please come in." Yemo quickly moved aside and said, "Thank you, martial brother Yi." Mi Yun then hung up the solitary cultivation sign for Yemo again. Seeing this, Yemo put on the restrictions again and asked after she sat down. Martial sister Mi Yun, what business do you have with me? Can I come see you? I heard you went to the ethereal immortal well, we're half a sect member. Saint Mi Yun laughed. There was a sliver of airiness in her tone. Yemo dazed. Were saints supposed to be formal and serious? Ningyi, you found a man and now Mi Yun didn't seem to act like a saint. Seeing Yemo daze, Mi Yun took back her smile and acted a little more serious. Martial brother Yi, I indeed need your help. Yemo quickly said. Martial sister Mi Yun, please say it. If it's something I can help with and not against my heart, I'm willing to help. Mi Yun got up and thanked before saying, Martial brother Yi, can hide your power to be great extreme immortal middle stage as great eternity immortal primary stage, and no one could see through it at all. One could say that Martial brother Yi's stealth cultivation method is definitely the best. Hearing this, Yemo immediately realized that there was nothing free in this world indeed. Mi Yun answered a few questions and wanted his cultivation method. Those questions were life questions to Yemo, but clearly she didn't know this. Since she didn't, it was over the line for her to ask for cultivation method. Mi Yun continued. Mi Yun knows this request is over the line, but that stealth cultivation method is very important to me. Martial brother Yi, you can ask for conditions, as long as Mi Yun can do it, I definitely will. Please just give me a copy of that stealth cultivation method. Yemo didn't answer. His stealth cultivation method came from 3 birth chant. Although she helped him, there was no way he was going to give his cultivation method. Because my master told me to not spread the cultivation method to anyone else. Martial sister Mi Yun is someone I respect, I can't reject you straight up. So, let me think about this again. Yemo said. There was no way he would give the stealth cultivation method from 3 birth chant to her, but he had plenty of cultivation method in his storage ring. He would find one and complete it, and then give it to her. Thank you, Martial brother Yi. Mi Yun was overjoyed and got up to thank. Seeing Yemo get up ready to send her out, Mi Yun left behind a jade slip and said, This is the way to capture void flying snow, hope it might help Martial brother Yi a little. Just when Yemo wanted to reject this, he remembered he needed this. When Li Kun came to Yemo, she found that the restriction was open. She rejoiced and walked over, but then saw Mi Yun Saint come out of Yemo's room. Seeing Li Kun dazing, Mi Yun greeted politely. Mi Yun greets Sister Shiyu. Li Kun just reacted and smiled awkwardly and chatted with her a little before going in Yemo's room. Brother, Mi Yun is ethereal immortal pond saint, don't get too close to her. Due to Ningyi Yu, the ethereal immortal pond wouldn't allow this thing to happen again. If it does, they might punish seriously. Li Kun said, immediately worried that Yemo would be enticed by Mi Yun. Yemo smiled. I know, don't worry Sister Shiyu. Li Kun nodded and added, The reason Ningyi Yu is fine is because Fangchen comes from Fangji Shan, a place with a few immortal emperor. The ethereal immortal pond doesn't dare to mess with them. Yemo nodded, and seeing a sliver of worry on her face he asked, What's wrong? Li Kun immediately said, Someone wants to kill Chibate-san, I came to ask you what to do. Yemo wondered. This immortal ship was going towards Qingwei Heaven, who had the guts to kill on this ship? Li Kun quickly said. He was challenged. If immortals have conflict on the ship, they can resolve the issue through duels on the battle stage. If you refuse the challenge, you must accept an insulting condition of the challenger. Chi Bate-sing was challenged, but with his young city lord status, how can he accept an insulting condition? However, I delayed the time, I said to wait for you to come out first. Li Kun quickly said. He was challenged. If immortals have conflict on the ship, they can resolve the issue through duels on the battle stage. If you refuse the challenge, you must accept an insulting condition of the challenger. Chi Bate-sing was challenged, but with his young city lord status, how can he accept an insulting condition? However, I delayed the time, I said to wait for you to come out first. Hearing this, Yemo breathed easy. This meant Chi Bate-sing was fine for now. Who challenged him? Yemo asked. Li Kun explained. Qi Beitsang offended Fendu Heaven East Abyss Emperor Sex Xiang Changyong. Xiang Changyong is great eternity immortal peak stage and very powerful. He's very famous amongst Fendu Heaven great immortals, but he's very murderous and violent. During these 2 months, he used challenges to kill quite some people. Yemo nodded and put the restriction back on his room before going with Li Kun to see Qi Beitsang. Qi Beitsang was a young city lord, but like Ji Shu, he didn't have any bad habits and was quite a good person. He was genuine to friends. The only bad thing about him was he was a bit immersed in lust. When Yemo and Li Kun entered Qi Beitsang's room, he found there were more than 10 people inside. They all came over from Changrong Heaven. Qi Beitsang's face was back. Clearly he knew he was no match for Xiang Sihangyong. Seeing Yemo come here, he nodded. Ji Shu and them got up and greeted the two. Brother Ji, what is going on? Yemo looked at Ji Shu and asked. Ji Shu sighed and glanced at Qi Beitsang. That Xiang Changyong is too cocky. Beitsang is too careless and went to chat up Demon Joy sect Huarushue. Huarushue is an evil woman. She tricked Beitsang's things and told Xiang Changyong to kill Beitsang. Quite a few people Xiang Changyong killed on the ship were due to Huarushue. Yemo had heard of Demon Joy sect from Li Kun. This was an infamous sect. No one inside the sect was good. Regardless, now that Qi Beitsang was targeted, Yemo wasn't going to watch this. When Yen Jiutian threatened him, Qi Beitsang was the first to stand up for him. I think we should let a person who is as strong as Xiang Changyong to discuss with him. If he knows that we're not weaker than him, perhaps he would step down. Jishu looked at Fang Qin. It was obvious that he was the strongest here. Yemo remembered there was a halfway immortal king guy, but clearly that guy didn't want trouble, so he didn't come. Fang Qin wasn't dumb. Seeing everyone look at him, he coughed. That Xiang Changyong is from East Abyss Emperor sect. Their power is no weaker than us Fang Jin Mountain, and those around him are the extreme grade great immortals from Fendu Heaven. Jiufan Immortal Pond Sainty is just one sliver away from Immortal King. Our power is so much weaker than theirs. I feel like a man should be able to see the times. Martial brother Beitsang doesn't have to fight him head-on. Fang Qin clearly meant for Qi Beitsang to surrender. If one surrenders, not only does he ruin his own reputation but the reputation of his sect. The victor can make the other person do anything that was insulting. If Qi Beitsang surrendered, he might as well die. Brother Qi, it's just a small thing. A mere Xiang Changyong is nothing. Yemo ignored Fang Chen's idea. This was an idiot idea. Qi Beitsang's face is bad, but hearing this he laughed. Brother Yi is right. There's only a Qi Beitsang that dies in battle. There's no Qi Beitsang that kneels down. Xiang Changyong challenged me. I'm a great eternity immortal tertiary stage. How can I be scared of him? Who will send the battle invitation for me? Everyone in the room dazed. Everyone knew that Qi Beitsang had to fight, but none of them persuaded Qi Beitsang to fight. Doing that was asking him to die. This Yemo just straight up encouraged Qi Beitsang to die. Ji Shu and them sighed. They were close to Qi Beitsang, and of course they knew Yemo was right. Ning Yu looked at Yemo and shook her head. Fang Qin sneered and said nothing. Even he was no match for Xiang Changyong. Instead of going to die, Qi Beitsang might as well suicide. He came here due to Ning Yu, and Ning Yu came here due to Li Kun. Yemo laughed. Of course I'm going. Ning Yu looked worriedly at Li Kun and said, Qi Yu, your brother. Li Kun smiled but wasn't worried. She knew Yemo's power too well. He was definitely no weaker than Xiang Changyong. She also knew Yemo wasn't the type to let his friends go die. He lives at Fendu Heaven region, room A138. Help me set it to 3 days later. Qi Beitsang said. I'll go with you. Jiaishu got up and said. Yemo waved his hand. No need, I'll go alone. It's a mere battle invitation. Yemo said to Li Kun. Sister Shi, wait for me here. I'll go find Xiang Changyong. I'll be back soon. Then, Yemo turned to leave without wasting any time. Seeing this, everyone fell silent. The one who helped Yemo explain the space law before said, I feel that although Martial Brother Yi is impulsive, his words are right. We're immortal cultivators, How can we fear a battle? Dying in battle is better than living like a dog. Okay, everyone who came here today is my friend. I'm glad you didn't leave me in my most difficult time. I'll treat everyone. Then, Chi Baitsang took out barrels of wine and opened them up. Aroma spilled. Everyone knew this was Chi Baitsang's treasured stock. He probably knew he was going to lose for sure, so he shared it with everyone. The wine was great, but everyone wasn't in a good mood. They even felt guilty. They didn't leave Chi Baitsang, but none of them were able to help him. Instead, it was Emo who sent the battle invitation for him. If we had a master like Lu Mang, who would dare to challenge us? Hui finished a barrel and smashed it. Everyone fell silent. They knew he was right. They were a group. They grouped up to increase their power and not be abused. But now, Chi Baitsang was about to be killed, but no one dared to say anything. The Heaven Domain regions were distinct on the immortal ship. Emo left Changrong Heaven area and soon found Fendu Heaven area. A 138 was very easy to find. There wasn't even a restriction on this room. The room was very noisy. Emo walked to the door, and the 30 immortals inside looked at Emo. None of them knew Emo. Who are you? What business do you have here? A cold voice sounded. It was a great eternity immortal tertiary stage. It doesn't matter who I am. I came to send the battle invitation. Emo sneered, not fearing the 30 great eternity immortal at all. After a brief silence, the room burst into laughter, as though finding Emo's serious attitude amusing. Emo waited for the laughter to calm down before saying, Who is Xiang Changyong? I'm challenging you. A bulky man got up suddenly. At the same time, his killing intent exploded out into a line towards Emo and exploded before him. Emo stood at the door and didn't move. It was like the killing intent met an invisible barrier. The force looked dominating, but Emo's hair didn't even move. With this, everyone in the room's faces changed. Everyone here was at least very strong in the same level. Emo was a great eternity immortal primary stage, and could stop such powerful killing intent without his hair even moving wasn't simple. With this, everyone in the room's faces changed. Everyone here was at least very strong in the same level. Emo was a great eternity immortal primary stage, and could stop such powerful killing intent without his hair even moving wasn't simple. In fact, other than Emo, everyone else's clothes moved, but they knew the killing intent was just targeted at Emo. The bulky man's eyes narrowed. He was very strong and had a strong background too, but he wasn't dumb. He investigated those who he challenges. He investigated Chi Baitsang's friends. Other than that Wei Chou, who was halfway immortal king, and that Fang Chen, he didn't consider everyone else a threat. He knew Chi Baitsang also had a great eternity immortal primary stage, but seeing him today, he realized this great eternity immortal wasn't ordinary. I'm Xiang Changyong. When does Chi Baitsang want to fight? Just say it. I can't be bothered waiting. The bulky man, surprised, quickly disappeared and looked calmly at Emo. Emo scanned everyone else here and said, I need to give this battle invitation to you alone. Of course, if you don't dare to receive it alone, you can let everyone stay. Ha! Xiang Changyong laughed. There's a battle invitation I don't dare to accept? I will accept any challenge. You don't need to use your little tricks. Everyone, please wait for a moment. I want to see what a mere great eternity immortal primary stage can do to me. Xiang Changyong's tone was very contemptuous. He considered Emo dead too. After he challenged Chi Baitsang, he would be challenging Emo next. Everyone seemed to know Xiang Changyong's character and immediately left. After everyone left, Emo put a few restrictions on the door. On the account of you blocking my killing intent sever, I'll give you a chance to speak. Xiang Changyong stared at Emo coldly. Take my punch first. Emo said and punched. Xiang Changyong didn't expect Emo dared to fight in his room, but his reaction was fast. He was furious. He wasn't even cocky yet, and a mere great eternity immortal primary stage dared to be this cocky. The next moment, a huge baton appeared before him. Emo's punch seemed to have appeared out of nowhere, and swept away all the space-killing intent in this room. Endless killing force was born out of nowhere and formed a killing intent whirlpool in just a second and enveloped Xiang Changyong. Yemo could easily take the space killing intent of 1,000 km radius and control it into the size of a room. Xiang Changyong wasn't Yan Jiutian, he was far from it. Yemo wasn't even scared of Yan Jiutian. He didn't need to have any concerns teaching Xiang Changyong a lesson. He had the confidence to kill him and not startle anyone outside. Of course, Yemo wasn't going to kill Xiang Changyong. If he was, it wouldn't be in the room. Plus, Xiang Changyong's background was strong. Yemo didn't want to mess with the people behind him yet. When Yemo punched, Xiang Changyong was still sneering, but when Yemo brought all the killing intent in the room and the killing force kept increasing out of nowhere, Xiang Changyong frowned. He felt Yemo was no weaker than him. When Yemo's killing intent whirlpool formed and enveloped him inside and found it difficult to even control his magic artifact, Xiang Changyong's heart went ice cold. If Yemo's fist wind exploded around him, he would be the center of the explosion and get torn apart. At this moment, Xiang Changyong realized that Yemo wasn't on par with him, he was far beyond him. Yemo's such terrifying killing intent didn't even touch the walls of the room and knew that this wasn't Yemo's true power. If Yemo used his true power, he wouldn't last more than 10 seconds in front of this Great Eternity Immortal primary stage. How was there such terrifying Great Eternity Immortal in Changrong Heaven? His killing intent sever was worse than a pebble in the sea compared to this punch. No wonder Yemo's hair didn't even move. Such killing intent struck straight into Xiang Changyong's heart. Xiang Changyong felt that the next moment, his life would no longer belong to him. Cold sweat fell from Xiang Changyong. For the first time, he felt he was so close to death. Although Yemo attacked first and made him lose the first opportunity, but even if he was prepared, could he stop this punch? Even if he did, could he stop the next one? Just when Xiang Changyong closed his eyes waiting for death, that terrifying killing intent suddenly stopped and the killing force whirlpool disappeared slowly. Xiang Changyong's pale face breathed easy. He knew he just had a stroll in death's doors. If Yemo didn't take back this punch, he would be dead. Xiang Changyong immediately knew that Yemo used a fist god artifact. Yet Yemo could control such terrifying fist wind and force with such ease. Once could see how strong Yemo was. The room returned to what it was before, but Xiang Changyong was sweating cold. He breathed easy, but his face was very bad. "I can easily kill you," Yemo said coldly. If Yemo said this when he first came in, he would have attacked already. Xiang Changyong put away his magic artifact. He knew Yemo was speaking the truth. Yemo continued, "I didn't come here to kill you. If I wanted to, I would challenge you." Xiang Changyong shivered. If he failed on the battle stage, he would be killed and be scorned for being killed by a Great Eternity Immortal primary stage after his death. After a moment of silence, he said heavily, "You're right, you can easily kill me. I was asked by someone to kill Chi Baitsang. If I knew Chi Baitsang had a friend like you, I won't challenge him." Xiang Changyong knew why Yemo asked everyone in the room to leave. It was to save face for him. Clearly, Yemo wasn't scared of him but didn't want to start conflict with him. "I appreciate your goodwill," Xiang Changyong added. He was violent, but he wasn't dumb. Yemo nodded. It was the best outcome that Xiang Changyong could calm down and answer his words. If Xiang Changyong was an idiot, Yemo would have to resort to challenging him. "Very well, I hope you can apologize to Chi Baitsang and say you were told by someone and cancel the challenge," Yemo said. Xiang Changyong subconsciously answered, "Impossible, I would definitely not apologize to anyone nor cancel the challenge." Yemo sneered, "In that case I will challenge you first. I feel that Huarushue isn't bad, you and her, wait." Xiang Changyong quickly stopped. "I agree to your request. But in order to do that, Chi Baitsang has to agree, or the challenge can't be cancelled. I will convince Chi Baitsang. He won't make it hard for you. You're a smart person, I believe you know what to do. I can't mess with East Abyss Emperor Sek yet, and I don't want conflict with them, but I don't want something to happen to my friend. but just because I don't want conflict doesn't mean I'm scared of any power. Yemo's words made Xiang Changyong know clearly that Yemo didn't consider him a threat. He just didn't want to offend East Abyss Emperor's sect. If he did, he would eventually get back at them. Xiang Changyong didn't feel Yemo was talking big. Yemo could easily kill a Great Eternity Immortal Peak stage as Great Eternity Immortal Primary stage. Clearly, Yemo's future was boundless. I agree, but if Chi Baitsang insults me, I would rather die in your hands, Xiang Changyong said. Yemo nodded and left. He believed Chi Baitsang would insult Xiang Changyong. May I ask of your name, friend? Xiang Changyong quickly saluted with his fists and asked. Solo Cultivator Yemo. Yemo opened the restriction. There were still many Great Eternity Immortals outside. Some were Xiang Changyong's friend, some came to see the fun. They wanted to see if Xiang Changyong would kill this Great Eternity Immortal Primary stage. Seeing Yemo leave rapidly, everyone was confused. According to Xiang Changyong's temper, this guy should either be dead or heavily injured, but Yemo left perfectly fine. Seeing Yemo leave rapidly, everyone was confused. According to Xiang Changyong's temper, this guy should either be dead or heavily injured, but Yemo left perfectly fine. Moments later, Xiang Changyong appeared at the door. Compared to Yemo, these Great Eternity Immortal felt like a lot about Xiang Changyong changed. His face didn't seem very good, and there were slight waves on his immortal essence. Friends, I just heard Chi Baitsang's friend explain. I just realized I was used by someone. I can fight to death, but there's no way I'm going to let myself be used. Xiang Changyong's words made people very confused. Xiang Changyong was using an excuse to kill Chi Baitsang. How come he said he was being used? Didn't he like people using him to kill? Xiang Changyong said seriously. I, Xiang Changyong, am a clean person. Wrong is wrong. I will not let people use me. They want to use me to challenge Chi Baitsang. I'm not going to let them have it their way. This time, I've decided to apologize to Chi Baitsang. Xiang Changyong's words shook everyone nearby. What was this? Xiang Changyong going to apologize personally? With this temper, he would only kill Chi Baitsang and then challenge the person who used him. A few cunning Great Eternity Immortal were already on to something. They immediately joined. Brother Xiang is indeed a clean and upright person. After knowing he was used, he still uses a nice manner to apologize to an ordinary Great Eternity Immortal. He indeed has the mannerism of a big sect. With Brother Xiang's unparalleled Tao heart, his accomplishment would be boundless. With people leading the way, the rest immediately knew what happened and all clapped. Xiang Changyong felt a little awkward, but he was grateful to those Great Eternity Immortal. At least his status and face was saved. Those smart Great Eternity Immortal already knew the problem was with the Great Eternity Immortal Primary stage who sent the battle invitation. If it sent that Xiang Changyong was really powerful, some people even suspect he was taught a lesson inside. This was too absurd, however. As soon as Yemo left from Du Heaven region, he saw someone familiar, little immortal King Lu Meng. He sneered at him, clearly waiting for him here. No wonder you killed Ming Kai, you're a Great Eternity Immortal. So amazing. Lu Meng sneered. Yemo knew Lu Meng hated him to the bones, but he didn't care. He had time-space boat, he could go anywhere. You're right, my Great Extreme Immortal was fake, Great Eternity Immortal is real. It's better than something that can't be real, Yemo said. Lu Meng was very annoyed seeing that Yemo sneering him for being a fake immortal king, but he couldn't fight here. I'm warning you to stay away from 11U, otherwise you won't even know how you die. Lu Meng threatened again. Yemo ignored him and immediately left. Lu Meng sneered, but there was nothing he could do. At this moment, a Great Eternity Immortal came to deliver Lu Meng a message. Yemo wasn't going to let this go, and his spirit sense sneaked over. Yemo only heard the words, 5-element item, auction, Immortal King. Lu Meng immediately left. He seemed very desperate. Yemo didn't care about auctions, there were ones every day. He cared about the 5-element item. It made Yemo think of his stone stools. Thinking about this, Emo was in no rush to go back and immediately chased after Lu Meng in invisibility. There were many restrictions on the immortal ship, and in less than 15 minutes Lu Meng disappeared from him. Brother Yi? Just when Emo was thinking about how to get to the auction, a voice of surprise and joy sounded. Emo recognized this person. It was Ren Elijin and Chu Chi next to her. To be honest, Emo really didn't want to see these two. He didn't expect they had the right to go to Qingwei Heaven. Emo could only salute with his fists and greet them. So it's Marshall's sister Li Jin and brother Chu, we meet again. I believe you two are going to Qingwei Heaven too? Chu Chi quickly said. Yes, thank you for your help, brother Yi. Seeing Emo here, Chu Chi was very shocked. Emo could appear here, meaning that in the battle at the palace, He Wuren was probably dead. Emo being Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage was very normal to him. Last time Emo was Great Extreme Immortal Peak Stage. Emo didn't want to mention the past and quickly said, It's nothing, you guys should be in Jinshang Heaven, how are you guys here? In order to go to Qingwei Heaven, the immortal residents used a lot of effort. We know it's very hard for us to get the Pingyu immortal fruit, but it's better to see the world. It's the marketplace ahead, we brought some immortal artifact we want to sell. Ren Lijin quickly said. Emo knew that they must be selling the immortal artifact they got in the immortal graveyard range. Emo immediately said, Perfect, I want to go to the marketplace too. This was just a marketplace on the immortal ship, but it is popular as marketplaces in some immortal cities. There were mostly Great Eternity Immortal inside, only a few Great Extreme Immortal. Emo let Chu Chi and Ren Lijin go set up their stall first. He wanted to find out about the auction and didn't want others to know. Why is Emo still not back? Jiu Ruyan was worried. Xiang Changyong's temper was bad and they all knew. If Emo offended Xiang Changyong wouldn't dare to kill him, but he could heavily injure Emo or destroy his power. Emo was just sending a battle invitation, it shouldn't take this long. Even Ji Shu and them were getting worried. Li Kun wasn't worried at all, but seeing everyone worry, she began to worry too. She trusted Yemo's power, but what if they gained up on Yemo? Thinking about this, Li Kun couldn't sit down anymore and immediately got up and said, I'll go have a look. Sister Shiyu, let me go. Ji Shu got up. He was close with Yemo. At this moment, the restriction of the room moved, someone came. Chi Baitsung was a little tipsy, but he immediately felt it, and opened the restriction saying, Brother, you should be back. But when he opened the restriction, he was dazed. It wasn't Yemo at the door, it was Xiang Changyong here, but there was no Yemo. Chi Baitsung guessed that Yemo might be heavily injured and immediately got up in fury. Everyone else realized what happened. Yemo was heavily injured and Xiang Changyong came to show off. Yemo's friends were only Ji Shu, Chi Baitsang, Jiu Ruyan and Yin Hui. Everyone else guessed what happened, but no one got up. Where is my brother Yemo? Li Kun's eyes went red and yelled at Xiang Changyong. Seeing the furious Li Kun who couldn't even control her killing intent, Xiang Changyong dazed. He just came here and didn't attack Li Kun. But soon he immediately realized what happened. Li Kun clearly thought he did something to Yemo. Li Kun was Yemo's sister. Xiang Changyong was scared and quickly saluted with his fists. Marshall's sister, brother, you went to my place and sat for a while and left. I don't know where he went, but I believe he should be back soon. Everyone in the room dazed. Since when was Xiang Changyong so easy to talk to? Was this the violent-tempered Xiang Changyong? What shocked them even more was that Xiang Changyong turned to Chi Baitsang and said, Brother Chi, I was tricked by someone before to challenge you. Luckily I know what happened now. I came to apologize to you and take back the challenge. Please forgive me, Brother Chi. In this instant, the room was extremely silent. Xiang Changyong came to apologize and take back the challenge? If it wasn't that Xiang Changyong's tone was genuine, no one would believe this was real. If it wasn't that Xiang Changyong's tone was genuine, no one would believe this was real. Seeing the silence in the room, Xiang Changyong felt very awkward and said genuinely, Brother Chi, what do you think? Chi Baitseng was a little tipsy, but he instantly woke up now. He realized that Xiang Changyong came to apologize probably due to Yemo Chi Baitsang wasn't going to reject of course. He quickly saluted with his fists. So someone started this conflict using you. Since Brother Xiang came to apologize, this little matter is over. Please come have a drink too. Chi Baitsang gave Xiang Changyong a way down. Then, Chi Baitsang poured a cup of wine for Xiang Changyong. Now, Ji Shu and them all realized that Xiang Changyong was indeed here to apologize. Xiang Changyong really didn't want to drink here but was afraid Yemo would think his apology wasn't genuine, so he quickly finished the cup and said, "All the unhappiness and misunderstanding is over with this drink." Chi Baitsang was very happy and laughed. "Of course, Brother Xiang has an open heart. I greatly admire it. That little misunderstanding is nothing." With this, Xiang Changyong felt assured and immediately saluted with his fists. "In that case, I'll be leaving." Xiang Changyong walked to the door but suddenly thought of something and turned back. "When Brother Yi comes back, if he has the time, I welcome him to come visit." Then, Xiang Changyong suddenly remembered what Yemo said before he left, solo cultivator Yemo. Only now did he realize the meaning of that. Being solo cultivator meant that Yemo was alone and could go anywhere. If he kept looking for trouble with Yemo's friends, Yemo would attack without hesitation. Seeing Xiang Changyong leave, the room full of people went into discussion. They all realized that Xiang Changyong came to apologize due to Yemo, but Yemo was a great eternity immortal primary stage. How could he convince Xiang Changyong to apologize? Only Li Kun knew that Yemo didn't persuade with words, he persuaded with fists. Since Xiang Changyong came to apologize, it meant that he considered the consequences of not apologizing. Ha! Chi Baitsang laughed and felt very satisfied. With Xiang Changyong apologizing to him, he would have everywhere he went if he told the story. "Many thanks to Brother Yi today." Why isn't he back?" Chi Baitsang wanted to celebrate but he realized that Yemo wasn't back. Li Kun said, "My brother probably has some business, don't worry about him. It seems that with Yemo on our team, no one would dare to challenge us." Jishu laughed. Jishu knew a little more about Yemo than everyone else. The depressing atmosphere immediately lightened up with Xiang Changyong's apology. Yemo went to a few shops and still got no news about the auction. He even wanted to find Lu Meng straight up. At this moment, he saw a huge sign on a merchant tower that clearly spelled the tower auction. Yemo immediately went inside. 5 minutes later, Yemo came out of the tower. He realized that this auction wasn't the auction he wanted to go to. But he also found out from here that there was a Ding Xiang auction that only invited those with high status. Lu Meng was the disciple of the Changrong Heaven's Heaven Lord. Clearly he had the opportunity. Yemo guessed that Miyun Saint of Ethereal Immortal Pawn probably was invited too, but he didn't know if Li Kun was invited. Yemo had decided to go ask Sister Shiyu first, and then Miyun. Before he left the marketplace, he heard some ruckus. Ren Lijin's voice was very loud. Yemo knew that there was probably some issue at their stall, so he went over without hesitation. "Brother Yi!" Ren Lijin had this fear towards Yemo. She felt Yemo was very mysterious and powerful. She quickly greeted Yemo when he came. "What's going on?" Yemo looked at the rusty pill cauldron in Ren Lijin's hands. Chi quickly said, "After we saw this pill cauldron, I felt it wasn't ordinary and wanted to put it away, but this immortal friend tried to force me to sell this cauldron to him. I didn't want to and he's causing trouble here. Your stall is clearly selling old products. I just picked this up from your stall. How am I causing trouble? If you don't want to sell, then don't set up a stall here," a great Eternity Immortal Peak stage yelled. Ren Lijin immediately said, "Why can't I set up stall here? Does this marketplace belong to you? Show me the cauldron." Yemo reached out his hand. "Brother Yi, if you like this pill cauldron you can have it. I'll give it to you for free. I'm not going to sell it to this rude person," Ren Lijin said. The great Eternity Immortal Peak stage sneered and just stared at Yemo's cauldron, saying nothing. Clearly, he really wanted it. Yemo took the pill cauldron and scanned it with his spirit sense. When he saw waves and waves of restrictions, he immediately realized why this great eternity immortal peak stage wanted it so much. This was a low-grade god artifact. A low-grade god artifact pill cauldron would be worth the same as an ordinary middle-grade god artifact. Yemo was immediately interested in this god artifact. Brother Chu, Marshall's sister Li Jin, this pill cauldron is a good magic artifact. I'm an immortal pill master, it's useful to me. Before Yemo finished, Chu-Chi said, Marshall brother Yi, you saved us before, if you like it then take it. Plus, Marshall's sister Li Jin agreed to give it to you. Then thank you, Yemo said. He really did save them, and to be fair, he abandoned this cauldron. He didn't expect there were really good things in that pile of trash. There's a chronological order to things. I came first, what right do you have to take it? The great eternity immortal immediately became desperate. Yemo took the pill cauldron and stared at this great eternity immortal. Did you see me buy it? They gave it to me for free, did you not hear it? The people watching immediately laughed out. You! The great eternity immortal was at a loss of words. But he immediately changed his position and saluted with his fists. Friend, this pill cauldron is really important to me. Name a price, I will buy it from you. If you have to buy it, then I'll sell it to you. Yemo frowned and said. He didn't believe this great eternity immortal would be able to afford it. The Git immediately said happily, Okay, thank you, friend. Yemo waved his hand. Don't thank me yet, this pill cauldron is very pricey. If you can't afford it, don't blame me. Tell me. The great eternity immortal said calmly. He believed with his fortune he would be able to shock this great eternity immortal primary stage. Yemo nodded. One extreme grade immortal range. If you can take out an entire one, you can have this pill cauldron. Yemo didn't know which one was more valuable, but he knew his price wasn't overpriced. To Yemo, the extreme grade immortal range was more important because he had a Shin-known cauldron. You! This great eternity immortal immediately pointed at Yemo in fury, thinking Yemo was mocking him. He didn't even have a low-grade immortal range. Not even immortal emperors had an extreme grade immortal range. Not even every grand emperors had an extreme grade immortal range. At this moment, another voice sounded. Brother Yi, can you show that pill cauldron to me? Of course the price will be what you say. A white-dressed woman appeared before Yemo. She seemed very formal, giving Yemo a feeling like she was a lily rising out of the water. A white-dressed woman appeared before Yemo. She seemed very formal, giving Yemo a feeling like she was a lily rising out of the water. Such a pretty woman, Yemo thought of Susu and Jin Bingyu. They were on par with her, but this woman seemed to have a royal temperament. Yemo didn't believe those seductive words were said by this woman, but when Yemo looked at the old man behind her, he immediately stopped using his spirit sense. Although the old man hid his power, he was at least immortal king peak stage, or even an immortal monarch. Brother Yi, can you sell this pill cauldron to me? The same voice came out of her mouth, but it didn't have the seduction like before. Yemo dazed. He couldn't match that seductive voice to this formal-looking woman. Seeing Yemo dazed, the woman laughed. There was innocence and naivety in her laugh, as though she was a little girl. You know me? Yemo asked heavily. This woman saw Yemo's look suddenly turn serious, and said with some unhappiness as she groaned. Brother Yi, do you hate me that much? You said you liked me before I like you? Yemo laughed. I don't even know who you are, why would I like you? Even though there was an immortal monarch behind her, Yemo wasn't scared. Immortal monarchs wouldn't dare to attack a great eternity immortal here. If it was in the void, Yemo would be alert. So you tricked me. The woman suddenly seemed like she was about to cry. You told Xiang Changyong you really liked me. So you lied to me. Yemo suddenly woke up. He couldn't believe that this woman was Demon Joy Sex Huarishua. Sister Sia said Demon Joy Sex women were the most shameless. They went around seducing men. They would sleep with them whenever and wherever they could. But this Huarishua seemed too naive and innocent. Without that, she would be a formal-looking goddess. Yemo really couldn't connect her to her Demon Joy sect identity. Yemo couldn't help being amazed at how quick she received news of it. But it was no wonder Xiang Changyong would tell her, she was indeed too attractive. There are countless people called Huarushue. I might not be talking about you. If you have to think that I am, then I lied to you. Yemo nodded. Huh? Huarushue was at a loss for words. But she quickly reacted and lowered her head as though in disappointment, and used a very crisp sound voice. I heard, brother, you wanted to sell your pill cauldron. Will I be able to buy it? Of course, as long as you can afford it, Yemo said. I don't have an immortal range, I only have immortal crystals. Name a price, I'll convert it to immortal crystals to you. Huarushue changed into a holy goddess manner. Yemo smiled. Sorry, I don't want immortal crystals. Immortal crystals were much worse than immortal range, and an extreme grade immortal range would be very helpful to the Golden Page world too. The look of disappointment on her face would make ordinary men want to give everything to her to make her happy. Some immortals on the side cursed Yemo for being so vulgar. They would have given the pill cauldron to her already. Brother Chu, martial sister Li Jin, I took the pill cauldron, I will pay for it. Yemo said to Chu Chi and Ren Li Jin. Chu Chi quickly said, It's right of us to give the pill cauldron to Brother Yi. If you say any more, I'll be ashamed. Seeing Yemo about to go, Huarushue quickly stopped Yemo. Brother Yi, if you really want an immortal range, that's fine. 2 nights later, there will be an auction at the top level of the ship. Only wealthy immortals can go there. One must have at least a 1 billion net worth to go. If you want to go, I can lend you 1 billion immortal crystals to participate there. If you sell your pill cauldron there, you might be able to get an extreme grade immortal range. I don't have immortal crystals and I don't want to go to some auction. Yemo rejected without hesitation. He wanted to go, but he definitely couldn't let people know. Then Huarushue showed extreme disappointment. Then Brother Yi, do you want to have a sit at my place? I'm willing to talk the entire night away with you. No need, starting from today I'm going into solitary cultivation. I need to spirit control this pill cauldron. I'm an immortal pill master, this pill cauldron is very important to me, Yemo said. Just when Yemo didn't know what to do, the great eternity immortal stopped Yemo. Because of your rudeness to Rushua goddess, I, Miaoqing Heaven's Yen Chong Sexia Go officially challenge you to a duel. Yemo knew that this guy wanted to use the challenge to rob the god artifact, but he didn't have time to challenge this guy. He had 5 billion immortal crystals, he could go into the auction. Before Yemo answered, Gia said again. Of course, if you're willing to accept defeat, I won't humiliate you. Yemo sneered, this guy just wanted the pill cauldron, of course he wouldn't humiliate him. If you want to fight, I'm down, but I don't have time to play with you now. I need to go back for solitary cultivation, see you half a month later on the battle stage. Yemo turned to leave, ignoring Huarushue who was waiting for him on the side. Gia sneered. You probably don't know, the challenge can't delay the battle for more than 5 days. You want to delay it by half a month, do you want to lose? Yemo really didn't know this rule. If he had to come out and fight Guya, this would be against his plan. Yemo was thinking about how to convert his immortal essence to a fake Great Eternity immortal tertiary stage. He believed he would be able to do it with the 3-birth chant. As long as he changed his cultivation level, he could forge a mask. Only then would he dare to go to the auction. Yemo slowly looked at Guya and said, In that case, I accept your challenge, the time is now. You really want to go to the battle stage now? Guya looked at Yemo in disbelief. A Great Eternity immortal primary stage didn't even fear death for the pill cauldron? Just when Yemo wanted to talk, a powerful spirit sense subtly charged into his sea of consciousness. Yemo's sea of consciousness was different than others. He would even immortal Emperor spirit sense checking inside. Yemo's face went pale. He immediately hacked out tens of spirit sense blades, and used a spirit sense net to stop that spirit sense. The spirit sense clashed with Yemo, and Yemo spat a few mouthfuls of blood and flew back tens of meters into a shop. Top-grade spirit sense cultivation method? The old man called out in shock. Yemo got up slowly. If he didn't use spirit sense blade, this old thing almost invaded into the depth of his sea of consciousness. This way, not only would be turned into an idiot, the Golden Page world would be exposed. This old bastard didn't consider the immortal ship rules and attacked him. Huarushiu frowned at the old man. Who let you attack? The old man quickly bowed. This person disrespected mistress. I'm teaching him a lesson. Huarushiu ignored him and walked up to Yemo bowing. Sorry, my subordinate was very rude. I apologize to you genuinely. Her tone was genuine and had a sliver of pity, making people unable to get angry. Yemo nodded. Okay, I know. Huarushiu felt relaxed, but Yemo didn't even wipe the blood from his body and said to a great eternity immortal not far ahead. How do I report status immortal ambushing a great immortal? Ring the drum at the marketplace entrance. That great eternity immortal saw a status immortal ambush Yemo and also felt annoyed, but he didn't dare to talk before. Didn't I apologize to you before? Huarushiu called out in shock. I already said I know, do I have to say it again? Yemo then walked up to the drum and smashed the stick onto the drum. His sea of consciousness was almost crippled. Could one sorry be enough? The deep drum sound rang through the entire immortal ship. The old man's face immediately changed, his hands turned shaky. He didn't expect that Yemo dared to ring the drum. He was more surprised that a mere great eternity immortal primary stage could not only notice but also stop his spirit sense attack. The old man's face immediately changed, his hands turned shaky. He didn't expect that Yemo dared to ring the drum. He was more surprised that a mere great eternity immortal primary stage could not only notice but also stop his spirit sense attack. He had never seen such a powerful spirit sense cultivation method. If it wasn't for that spirit sense cultivation method, a mere great eternity immortal primary stage wouldn't be fine even if he didn't attack with full power. He didn't really want to check the depth of Yemo's sea of consciousness, he just wanted to mark it. He thought a great eternity immortal primary stage wouldn't be able to notice this, but as soon as his spirit sense touched Yemo's sea of consciousness, he felt the most powerful resistance. Because of this, he increased his spirit sense attack power, otherwise his sea of consciousness would be injured first. Due to this, he heavily injured Yemo. The punishment for status immortal attacking a great eternity immortal wasn't ordinary, it was soul annihilation. How could he not fear? Yemo didn't know how heavy the punishment for this was, but even if he knew, he would still strike the drum without hesitation. Everyone looked at Yemo with admiration. This great eternity immortal primary stage really feared nothing. Even if a status immortal taught a great eternity immortal a lesson, no one would dare to ring the drum. If he annoyed this status immortal or his friend, even if the great eternity immortal got his revenge, he would be finished himself. Plus, everyone knew the sect where the old man came from. It was an emperor sect. Demon Joy's sect was a very murderous sect. You really dared to strike the immortal ship drum, you're so cruel! Huarushiu didn't have the naivety from before. Her face was covered in killing intent. As soon as she said this, a few powerful Kais came. At the same time, 2 immortal monarchs arrived at the marketplace. What happened? A skinny immortal monarch primary stage asked. Just the pressure from his power made the people nearby feel it was hard to breathe. He was clearly talking to Yemo, as Yemo was holding the drumstick. Yemo put it down and bowed, saluted with his fists. This person ambushed me as a status immortal, making me heavily injured. If I didn't know some simple spirit sense methods, my sea of consciousness would have been shattered and I would become an idiot. As a contestant invited to Qingwei Heaven for the tournament, I kept to myself and have done nothing wrong, but now I have had this disaster brought upon me. Please bring justice, 2 masters. Is this so? The immortal monarch's power rose and locked up the space nearby. This was the first time Yemo saw an immortal monarch's killing intent. It was this terrifying and direct. It was as though once this killing intent was activated, he didn't even need to attack to tear people apart. Yemo was shocked. This was just an immortal monarch primary stage, and he didn't even attack or activate his killing intent, yet he was this scary. Then what about an immortal monarch peak stage or even immortal emperor? Now Emo doubted if he could guard his sea of consciousness against the mortal emperor. Just the immortal king's spirit senses attack from before wasn't at full power. If he used full power, would he be able to guard it? Yes, two masters, Wanbei didn't really want to attack this great eternity immortal. I just wanted to check his cultivation method, but then there was a misunderstanding causing mutual attacks. Wanbei is willing to take responsibility. Please take it easy on me, two masters. The immortal king bowed. Huarushua also said, Huarushua, greet wind and lightning masters, Uncle Ji is my house servant. This is my fault too. I'm willing to compensate his loss and accept the punishment of the immortal ship. The skinny immortal monarch asked, You know us? Yes, Wanbei is Demon Joysek's disciple. I'd been on this ship with my master before. Huarushua bowed again. Your master is? The immortal monarch's tone eased up. My master is Demon Joysek's Luo, the immortal emperor. Have two immortal monarch masters heard of him? Huarushua bowed again. So it's Master Luo, the immortal emperor. The skinny immortal monarch's face changed and his tone eased up. Even his killing intent towards Uncle Ji was greatly reduced. Yumo's heart sunk. He knew this wasn't going to end well. The two immortal monarchs' attitude clearly changed. That skinny immortal monarch looked at him with some coldness. The skinny immortal monarch looked back at Emo and said, They're willing to compensate and apologize. Are you willing to accept? If you do, then name your condition. If not, then we will take this immortal king to punishment. Emo wanted to ring the drum and bring law enforcer above immortal monarch, but thinking about how he had no backup and if an immortal emperor really came and forcefully killed him, there would be nothing he could do. They would be able to attack him when he was in solitary cultivation. Emo sighed and felt very annoyed. No matter where it was, if you didn't have power or backup, you were someone to be abused. I'm willing to accept the apology. I need 2 billion immortal crystals. Emo said. Emo knew he would be suspected if he went to auction after taking the 2 billion immortal crystals, but he couldn't just let them go for free. Here, I'm afraid you won't be able to handle this well. Huarushua just threw 2 immortal crystals cards at Emo. Young people are brave indeed. The skinny immortal monarch saw this and sneered before disappearing with the other immortal monarch from this place. You probably can't go yet. You said you would accept my challenge. You need to go to the battle stage now, not somewhere else. Guya immediately said. Guya thought if he killed Emo, his storage ring would be his. Even if he didn't take the 2 billion immortal crystals, he would be connecting with Huarushua. If Huarushua wanted this pill cauldron, the 2 billion immortal crystals would be compensation. As you wish, lead the way. Emo said without hesitation. There was a challenge and soon everyone on the boat knew about this, including Li Kun and them. Xiang Changyong was dazed upon hearing this. He saw Yemo's power with his own eyes, even he was no match. Who was dumb enough to challenge Emo? But soon he realized there was a show to watch and took his people to the stage. Brother Yi, I didn't expect someone dared to challenge you. Haha, there's a good show to watch. Brother Yi, can you come over to my place for a few drinks after? Xian Sihongyong saluted with his fists. Probably not these few days, we'll talk about it at Qingwei Heaven. Seeing this, he knew that the problem between Xiang Changyong and Qi Beitsang had been resolved. Xiang Changyong was very famous on the ship. Guya knew about Xiang Changyong, of course. Seeing Xiang Changyong so polite and familiar with Emo, his heart sunk. He knew Xiang Changyong's background very well. Even Huarushua could only flirt with him and not offend him because Xiang Changyong's background was even stronger than hers. With what Xiang Changyong said, he was bound to lose. You challenged my brother? Then I'll kill you first. Li Kun said, glaring coldly at Guya. A mere great eternity immortal tertiary stage doesn't need Brother Yi or Goddess Xiyu to fight. Yin Hui will be enough. Yin Hui's killing intent forced towards Guya. Guya's heart suddenly went cold. He found he didn't even investigate the opponent he challenged. Really? This many people ganging up on one? Guya go challenge this weak little kid. I want to see who dares to challenge you. I'll challenge him first. Since when did Miao Cheng Heaven become so easy to abuse? A cold, contemptuous voice sounded. Xiang Changyong and Yin Hui immediately shut up. Really? This many people ganging up on one? Guya, go challenge this weak little kid. I want to see who dares to challenge you. I'll challenge him first. Since when did Miao Cheng Heaven become so easy to abuse? A cold, contemptuous voice sounded. Xiang Changyong and Yin Hui immediately shut up. They couldn't mess with this person, the number one master below status immortal in Miao Cheng Heaven, Di Wenqin. He was one of the sect members in the number one sect in Miao Cheng Heaven, Jiuqian Emperor sect. Li Kun raised her eyebrow and wanted to talk but was stopped by Yimo. Sister Shiyu, you don't need to come, I'm fine. Yimo's killing intent soared. Being forbearing constantly on this ship wasn't the way to go. If he was by himself, it was fine, but he had friends here too. His spirit sense cultivation method had been exposed by that immortal king. Even if he kept laying low, Hua Rishua would tell everyone, so he might as well be straightforward. Hurry up, my time is limited. Yimo landed on the stage and said calmly to Guya. Guya was very excited. He didn't expect that after being challenged by so many people, he would get the sympathy of Di Wenqin. With this, he immediately flew on the stage. If you admit defeat now, you still have a sliver of chance, otherwise, don't blame me for killing you like a chicken, Guya said. If there wasn't Xiang Changyong and Li Kun and them supporting Yimo, he could have attacked already instead of making him admit defeat. Di Wenqin was getting impatient, he said to Guya uncomfortably. Since you challenged him, then take out your full power. Kill what needs to be killed, there's nothing to fear. With this, Guya's only sliver of worry was gone. Before Yimo answered him, he took out a 10-meter-long black spear. Tens of thousands of spear shadows appeared out of nowhere as killing intent spread. Yimo was a straightforward person, he didn't plan on holding back. His battle experience was ample and his spirit sense and immortal essence was far beyond Guya's. He didn't even wait for Guya's killing force to send out a punch. Thud Yimo almost used full power. With this, tens of miles around the stage were encompassed by his fist. Wind and heaven covering killing intent completely covered that unformed spear force. Even the immortals below the stage subconsciously skipped a heartbeat as though this punch was coming at their chest. When Di Wenqin saw this punch, his face changed. He was the number one great immortal of Miao Cheng Heaven, of course he knew the power of Yimo's punch. This was a god art punch. It was unstoppable. Rumble Guya's spear was swept by the fist wind and become thousands of times heavier. He couldn't even lift it. Crack, the fist wind struck the spear and a huge explosion sounded. Guya's face changed and burned his immortal essence. If his spear was caught by the fist force, he would only be able to await death. The terrifying killing intent was brought over by Yimo. Guya wanted to break free, but it was too late. An invisible killing force whirlpool swept up like a disc and crushed down. Guya found it was hard to breathe as though a huge disc had landed on his chest. Thud thud, the sound of space exploding grew louder and Guya's pupils dilated as though he felt the chi of death and destruction. Guya was completely dazed. Was this punch made by a great eternity immortal primary stage or an immortal king? How was there such terrifying fist god artifact? I admit defeat, Guya called in horror, but soon he found his voice was enveloped by the killing force and couldn't make a sound. Thud, the whirlpool struck Guya head on. Blood and flesh flew everywhere and instantly disintegrated amidst the whirlpool. A black spear was shot up 100 meters high before landing and piercing into the corner of the stage while wobbling. Clank, a storage ring fell onto the stage, making a crisp sound. The killing force whirlpool disappeared and the stage returned to being calm. Guya was gone, only piles of blood and the spear remained. The area was silent, everyone stared at Yemo in shock. At this moment, Yemo reached out an immortal essence hand and grabbed the storage ring. It was like a person walking under the afternoon sun and found a storage ring on the road, so he picked it up peacefully and calmly. There was silence. A Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage used one punch to instant kill a Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage who challenged him. He didn't use any schemes nor magic artifact, he used his punch. A few seconds later, a shocking applause erupted outside the stage. The battle process wasn't fascinating at all, but no one believed this battle wasn't exciting. Everyone thought they had never seen such a magnificent punch nor such a god artifact. Perfect, amazing. Praises sounded. This was a world of the strong, only strong people were recognized and supported. No one would remember the defeated dead. Yemo breathed easy. He saluted with his fists to the people off the stage. He didn't feel he did wrong. His opponent wanted to kill him, he didn't need to act cowardly. He might be in danger if he exposed his strength, but so what? At least no one dared to do anything to him on the ship. He just needed to be careful in the void. As for Qingwei Heaven, he would be able to go anywhere. Li Kun clenched her fist, she was full of pride. She knew Yemo could do it. She knew that Yemo's power was many times stronger than when he fought Ming Kai. She was certain Yemo didn't hide his cultivation level before, but she wouldn't tell anyone the secret. Chi Baitsang stared at Yemo in shock before murmuring, "I finally understand." He finally understood why Yemo could persuade Xiang Changyong to apologize. This punch was too terrifying. Facing against such a punch, Xiang Xihangyong would have to apologize if he didn't want to die. Ji Shu and Yin Hui also stared at Yemo in shock. Even though Ji Shu knew Yemo was immortal nirvana body peak, he didn't dare to believe Yemo's punch was this powerful. If he knew Yemo was actually immortal spirit body, perhaps he would be more shocked. Xiang Chongyong breathed slowly. He knew he was very smart in his decision. Yemo could indeed easily kill him. Hua Ruxue opened her mouth in shock. She suddenly felt that Yemo's secret wasn't just spirit sense cultivation method, he definitely had more. Yan Jiutian at one corner saw the battle and frowned. He knew Yemo's power and wasn't surprised Yemo could kill Guya in one punch. He was worried that more people would notice Yemo after this, and that wasn't good for him. Yemo had Spirit Will 9 transformations, World Rock and maybe even Time Formation Disc as well as his space-time boat. He didn't want them to be taken. Di Wenqing's face sunk, he felt this Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage was strange. Even he wouldn't be able to easily stop that terrifying god artifact fist. He stared at Yemo coldly, thinking whether he needed to kill this threat on the stage. Di Wenqing was thinking if he should challenge Yemo when he suddenly felt Yemo's eyes glance past him. His eyes were very placid and there was not a sliver of killing intent, but Di Wenqing felt his body go cold. He had the feeling that Yemo was waiting for him to challenge him. Di Wenqing was thinking if he should challenge Yemo when he suddenly felt Yemo's eyes glance past him. His eyes were very placid and there was not a sliver of killing intent, but Di Wenqing felt his body go cold. He had the feeling that Yemo was waiting for him to challenge him. Di Wenqing clenched his fist and gave up on the thought. He had to investigate this Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage clearly before killing him. This was his habit, he didn't like doing things he didn't have confidence for. The best thing was to kill Yemo in the void. Seeing Di Wenqing not planning to come up, Yemo was a little disappointed. He didn't release any killing intent so he could kill Di Wenqing. Since he already offended Di Wenqing, he didn't need to be scared. Di Wenqing's sect might be very powerful, but so what? He was on the immortal ship now. No matter how powerful that sect was, they couldn't immediately come to this immortal ship in the void, right? If that Uncle G wanted to kill him in the void, perhaps he could only run away. If he killed Di Wenqing before running away, there would be a less powerful opponent to challenge Li Kun and them. Seeing Yemo instantly kill Guya, no one dared to go up the stage and challenge him. There was only sighs of amazement and congratulations. Chi Baitsang and them went up immediately to congratulate Yemo. Ning Yu, do you know where this Yemo came from? Fang Chen stared at Yemo and asked Ning Yu. Yemo used him once, and he felt a little uncomfortable. He was planning to teach Yemo a lesson if he saw Yemo alone. When he realized he might not be a match for this Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage, he was very shocked. Ningyu frowned. I don't know, Shiyu brought Yemo over and said he was her brother. I thought Yemo was her Dao partner, but later, I realized Yemo really was her brother. I didn't ask how her brother came to be, he seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. Then can you help me ask Martial Sister Shiyu who this Yemo is? He's too mysterious. Such terrifying power, and he seems so young, he's definitely not in Solo Cultivator. If this person isn't Solo Cultivator, then the Emperor Sect people really lack eyes. I believe no Emperor Sect would let go such a prodigy. Fang Chen said again. Ningyu nodded. I'll ask Shiyu when I have time, but she seems to be very protective of him, she might not tell me. Fang Chen nodded and said, I heard Miyun seemed to have sat in Yemo's room for a long while, what did she do? What? Ningyu called out in shock. I'll go ask her. Then she quickly turned to run. Fang Chen didn't leave with Ningyu and just looked at Yemo in contemplation. Yemo didn't go celebrate with Chi Baitsang and them. He chose to go into solitary cultivation. He promised Li Kun that he would come out in half a month. He wanted to ask Li Kun to go check the auction for him, but then he was afraid it would affect her after he ran through the void. He had decided to find little immortal King Lu Meng when they were searching for void flying snow. Yemo collected his things and found that including Guya's 1 billion immortal crystals, he had 6 billion immortal crystals. He didn't even dare to think about this figure before, but now he reached it. Even if he was a level 7 immortal pill great master, it wasn't easy to get this amount by selling pills. Plus, ordinary immortal pill masters have a success rate of pill concoction. Seeing some of the forgery journals in Guya's storage ring, Yemo realized that Guya was an immortal forgery great master. No wonder the guy could recognize the pill cauldron was a low-grade god artifact. After organizing his immortal crystals, Yemo took out that rusty pill cauldron. The rust were all just restrictions, only those experienced in formation and restriction could see something. As for Huarushue, it was probably due to her auntie. Yemo was an immortal formation great master who could barely set up level 5 immortal formation. 10 days later, Yemo completely refined the restriction outside. When the rest fell, an ancient pill cauldron appeared on his hands. The pill cauldron even emitted a faint herbal aroma. One could see that this pill cauldron had concocted countless pills before. It had much less restriction than the replica space-time boat, but even so, Yemo estimated he would need half a month to refine all these restrictions. In the next few days, Yemo found a random stealth cultivation method and used the 3-birth chant to change it. He was planning to give it to Miyun Saint. After doing these, Yemo opened his room restriction and saw Miyun walking around his door. Seeing Yemo's room open, she immediately greeted up. Yemo knew what she wanted and smiled. Martial Sister Miyun, please come in. Miyun quickly entered and helped Yemo put on the restriction before saying awkwardly, Miyun, congratulate Martial Brother Yi showing your power, and instantly killed a shameless person. Yemo just took out a jade slip and gave it to her. This stealth cultivation method is slightly different to what I use, but it's rather good. Seeing this, there was surprise and joy, but when she heard what Yemo said, the joy turned to a sliver of disappointment. Clearly, Yemo didn't give her the jade slip she wanted. Yemo knew why she was disappointed but couldn't be bothered explaining. He wasn't familiar with her. Giving her a jade slip he had derived for 5 days was enough to repay what she did. If she still wasn't satisfied, then sorry. Her disappointment quickly disappeared and she took the jade slip. She forced a happy look and said, Thank you, Martial Brother Yi. Then she scanned her spirit sense in. Soon her face showed real surprise and joy. This was definitely what she wanted. Even if Immortal Monarch didn't use spirit sense to specifically check, they might not be able to see her real power. Miyun thanked Martial Brother Yi. Miyun put away the jade slip and genuinely thanked Yemo. Yemo just smiled and casually asked, Martial Sister Miyun, did anything important happen on the ship during my solitary cultivation? Miyun shook her head. No, the ship is about to stop in a day. We're at the place to catch void flying snow. More importantly, the hottest topic for discussion is your one-punch killing Guya. Many people from Miaoqing heaven want to challenge you but was suppressed by Di Wenqing. Then, she thought of something and quickly said, By the way, after you went into solitary cultivation, the top deck of the ship held a high-level auction. High-level auction? Yemo asked in confusion, but his heart was overjoyed. Yeah, I went into that auction. Many high-level things came. There were 3 extreme-grade immortal artifact, 1 extreme-grade immortal artifact flying ship that can cross the void. On top of that, a level 8 immortal spirit beast core came out too, Miyun said. There was also a level 7 immortal pill, E-King pill, and a 5-element stool. It said an immortal monarch was auctioning that. Miyun continued to talk, but Yemo's heart was overwhelmed. He almost couldn't control himself. That 5-element stool might be the one he wanted. If he obtains it, then his golden page world would be complete and become a true chaos world. Thinking about this, Yemo was excited, but Miyun stopped there. Yemo quickly asked, Martial Sister Miyun, what is that 5-element stool for? What price was it sold for? Miyun said. The starting bid was too high and didn't get sold. The immortal monarch asked for 1.5 billion immortal crystals and a middle-grade immortal range. No one could even afford the starting price. It said that the immortal monarch wanted to sell this and went to many auctions but never succeed. Hearing this, Yemo's heart went cold. He was 70% certain that this immortal monarch was fishing for those idiots who had stools too and wanted to complete it. Yemo rejoiced he didn't go to the auction now. If he did, if he even just gave the stone stool a weird look, he might be noticed by the immortal monarch lurking on the side. Yemo rejoiced he didn't go to the auction now. If he did, if he even just gave the stone stool a weird look, he might be noticed by the immortal monarch lurking on the side. Yemo really wanted to ask what the immortal monarch looked like and what the stone stool looked like, but he knew if he did, Miyun would definitely become suspicious. Miyun was very excited about the jade slip. When she calmed down, she would think about why he cared so much about the stone stool. Thinking about this, Yemo kept asking about the E-King pill. Miyun felt it was normal that Yemo cared so much about the E-King pill. After all, almost everyone going to Qingwei Heaven was going for the Pingyu immortal fruit, which is the main ingredient for the E-King pill. Just when Yemo didn't want to keep talking, his restriction moved again. Yemo opened and found it was Li Kun and Ning Yiyu standing at the door. Li Kun went and seeing Yemo opened the restriction, but Ning Yiyu didn't come in and just stared at Yemo coldly, and then looked at Miyun. Martial Brother Yi, thank you, I'll be going first, we'll talk if we have time. Miyun greeted Yemo and Li Kun before getting up to leave. Yemo ignored Ning Yiyu and closed the door again. Seeing that Yemo didn't even invite her in, Ning Yiyu's face was bad. Martial Sister Ning Yiyu, Miyun greeted. Miyun, how dare you? Do you not know what a saint should be doing? As the ethereal immortal pawn saint, you cast aside your guardian and often go into other men's rooms. You're not following the rules at all. Miyun's face sunk too and stared coldly at her. You're a mere core disciple and you dare to talk to me like this? Ning Yiyu's face changed and immediately remembered she was no longer saint. She was indeed way over the line to speak to Miyun like that. Miyun said coldly again, As the saint of ethereal immortal pond, I know what I should do. I don't need you to teach me. But you went so close to a man when you were a saint, and you dare to criticize me about this. Miyun sneered and ignored Ning Yiyu as she walked off. Brother, if you really like Miyun. Yemo waved his hand before Li Kun finished. Sister Shiyu, you think too much. It's not what you think it is, I have no fetish for saints. Plus that woman doesn't look as easy to talk to as she seems, don't worry. Li Kun nodded and said no more. She knew Yemo wouldn't lie to her. If she was to choose a doubt partner for Yemo, she would rather choose Ning Yiyu than Miyun. Sister Shiyu, you came to me probably because it's time for Capture Void Flying Snow, right? Yemo asked. Yes, there's one more day and the ship would be stopping. I'm worried that Di Wenqing would be harming you. Be careful. I also heard about what happened at the marketplace. I can also enter the void when we go capture Void Flying Snow. Be careful of Huarushua. Li Kun seemed very worried. Sister Shiyu, don't worry, I have my own way. The Spirit Will 9 transformations is very useful in capturing void flying snow. Oh, and this. Yemo gave a copy of how to capture void flying snow to Li Kun. I know, I would be entering second transformation of Spirit Will 9 transformations soon. This is indeed a top-grade spirit sense cultivation method. Li Kun said excitedly, thinking about the use of the Spirit Will 9 transformations. Yemo could give such cultivation method to her, meaning he didn't doubt her at all. Brother, we both have Spirit Will 9 transformations. If we work together we can definitely get more void flying snow. I believe other people would be working together too. One can't reach top 1000 alone. We'll work together. I'll give all the void flying snow I get to you and you can see the Immortal Emperor. Yemo quickly stopped her. Sister Shiyu, even if someone goes, it's you, not me. Brother, I'm long you Immortal Mountain sect members. If I get the fruit, it might be taken by the sect, but you're different. You will eventually become level 7 Immortal Pill Grand Master. Once you do, you can use it to forge King Pill. Just give me one then. Li Kun quickly said. Yemo smiled. Sister Shiyu, I'm actually level 7 Immortal Pill Grand Master already. I just need the fruit. Huh? Li Kun got up in surprise and joy. Yemo only used a few years to reach level 7 Immortal Pill Grand Master. This meant that her brother didn't need to rely on anyone to buy pills, he could reach the peak himself. Li Kun grabbed Yemo's hand in excitement. Great, this is great. But I don't want to go see those Immortal Emperor. Yemo said seriously. After seeing 2 Immortal Monarch primary stage masters, he felt threatened by Immortal Emperor. It was best not to go see Immortal Emperor if he wasn't Immortal King yet. Why? Li Kun looked at Yemo in confusion. Most Great Eternity Immortal would do anything to see Immortal Emperor. Sometimes one word from Immortal Emperor might solve a problem a Great Eternity Immortal was troubled with his entire life. Yemo said without hesitation. Sister Shiyu, I'm too weak and my cultivation method is special. I don't want the Immortal Emperor to notice me. Li Kun understood what Yemo meant and nodded. I understand. If I can get the Pingyu Immortal Fruit, I'll leave one for you. The two discussed some specifics of capturing void flying snow before eventually deciding Yemo to act alone. Li Kun would stay with the Changrong Heaven team. A day later, the immortal ship stopped and a few 100,000 immortals went onto the deck. Yemo followed the Changrong Heaven immortals. Soon, a powerful chi came. An ordinary man in blue robes landed at the top of the deck. Just standing there, it was as though all the chi in the world circulated around him. Yemo knew this was an illusion, as this person's power was just too powerful to him. This was countless times stronger than an immortal monarch primary stage. Yemo guessed it was probably an immortal emperor. Yemo immediately looked down and didn't even dare to use spirit sense to check this immortal emperor's power. Everyone can call me Mi Quan Immortal Emperor, although I just reached Immortal Emperor for 1,000 years, but I need to tell everyone that if status Immortal and Great Immortal is the biggest milestone in the immortal realm, the difference Immortal Emperor and status Immortals is a natural chasm. Today, capturing the flying snow is your first step towards status Immortal. Yemo was shocked. This Mi Quan Immortal Emperor was only an Immortal Emperor for 1,000 years. He was definitely an Immortal Emperor primary stage. An Immortal Emperor primary stage didn't even intentionally exert his pressure, and he was this powerful. Then how terrifying would Feng Kong Grand Emperor and the other Immortal Emperor tertiary stages be? If he saw those Immortal Emperors, there was very high possibility he would expose his Golden Page world. He was one in a few 100,000 facing Mi Quan Immortal Emperor. If he saw Feng Kong Grand Emperor, it would be 1 in 1,000. Of course, some people don't need this to gain their fortune to Immortal King, but now, there are less and less opportunities to reach Immortal Emperor. The most direct way is to go to Qingwei Heaven and see Immortal Emperor. So I hope everyone can catch more void flying snow here. I also need to warn all Immortal King and Immortal Monarch on the ship. You can go into the void too, but if any status Immortal dares to attack a Great Immortal, death. Mi Quan Immortal Emperor's last sentence was full of cold killing intent. Some Immortal King and Immortal Monarch even shivered. Even though Miquan said this, Emo didn't plan to leave his life to this sentence. If an immortal king wanted to kill him, would this immortal emperor be watching on the side? The time limit is 3 months, now the ship restriction will open, Miquan immortal emperor said. The great eternity immortals all entered the void, Emo followed them into the void too. A very ordinary great eternity immortal tertiary stage squeezed behind Emo and went into the void with him. The great eternity immortals all entered the void, Emo followed them into the void too. A very ordinary great eternity immortal tertiary stage squeezed behind Emo and went into the void with him. Emo's spirit sense casually scanned his spirit sense and saw that he was marked by spirit sense mark. Emo didn't remove it and just sneered. He even found that half-divine spirit sense, a mere great eternity immortal, dares to mark his spirit sense mark. Going into the void, Emo didn't go with Li Kun and them, he left quickly alone. Half an hour later, he placed that spirit sense mark in a jade box. If it wasn't that Emo didn't who marked this spirit sense mark, he wouldn't take it off at all. If it was by little immortal King Lu Mang and Di Wenqing, he wouldn't be scared at all. If it was marked by Huaruxue, he would need to worry about that Uncle G. Emo released the space-time boat replica. He wanted to test this thing's speed. After Emo mobilized the boat, it just shook in the void and instantly disappeared from its spot. Emo scanned his spirit sense out and didn't feel used to this, it was too fast. It had all sorts of heaven domain directions clearly pointed. Emo rejoiced this. This thing was a necessity for running away. A low-grade god artifact was this terrifyingly fast, just how powerful would the real space-time boat be? A day later, Emo got off the space-time boat. He knew he was far from the immortal ship. If he kept going, he might lose contact with the immortal ship. Just one day and Emo felt that he wouldn't be able to reach this far even if he flew on Blue Moon for a month. Emo put away the space-time boat and took out that jade and set it next to an asteroid and bound the asteroid. Then, he chose a rather far place and started catching void flying snow. He was fishing, he didn't know who would be coming. If it was Immortal King level, he would leave immediately. If it was below Immortal King, he would fight first no matter who it was. Emo was just ready and his spirit sense caught a white color flash. Emo knew it was void flying snow. The void flying snow was rare because first it was hard to catch, but second they were rare even in the void. Emo had to wait 10 days before just to catch one, sometimes a month. But here, there were so many. He saw void flying snow immediately. Was this why the immortal ship stopped here? Emo hesitated for a moment, and the void flying snow disappeared. Emo realized the void flying snow seemed faster here. But Emo wasn't afraid, all that mattered was that there were plenty here, he didn't care about their speed at all. The black and white space suddenly became volatile. Lu Meng was swept back and spat a mouthful of blood in the air. The black and white space suddenly became volatile. Lu Meng was swept back and spat a mouthful of blood in the air. No wonder you are so cocky, so you have a yin-yang lantern. Yan Jiutian snorted in contempt, but that black mist line pierced over without stopping. The nearby space wasn't controlled by Lu Meng's yin-yang lantern but by Yan Jiutian's black spear. Lu Meng was scared soulless. He never thought that there would be a great eternity immortal in this world to be able to injure him, especially under his yin-yang lantern. Even his lantern was cracked. This was an extreme grade immortal artifact, the top grade amongst extreme grade immortal artifact. Hold it! Lu Meng couldn't care about the lantern anymore and blocked it in front of him. Crack! Emo thought to himself, no wonder his octagonal cauldron cracked so easily and even his world rock couldn't stop this mist spear. This thing was too scary. Emo was even suspecting this guy's spear was top-grade god artifact. However, the mist had become one with Yan Jiutian and even he couldn't tell. Yan Jiutian's power was even scarier. Emo didn't have the confidence to beat him now. Cracking sounds went on and Lu Meng's yin-yang lantern was struck to pieces, disappearing into the void. Little Immortal King's face was pale. He never expected that with his huge fame, he couldn't even beat an unheard of great eternity immortal tertiary stage. On top of that, his yin-yang lantern was destroyed. He could only wait for death. Yemo saw Little Immortal King was about to be killed but didn't want to intervene again. In fact, tactically, he should have helped and gained up on Yan Jiutian. But Yemo would rather himself being no match for Yan Jiutian than save Little Immortal King, nor would he work with him. The black mist spear neared Little Immortal King's forehead. There was despair in Lu Meng's eyes. He never expected to die in some random guy's hands before even attacking his main target. He still had many means that he didn't even get time to use. Die in front of the Emperor. Yan Jiutian's eyes went cold and the spear exploded out black rays wanting to tear Lu Meng to pieces. Who dares to kill my disciple? A furious voice sounded and a hollow figure appeared before Little Immortal King. A boundless force came sweeping over while a hollow hand grabbed at the black mist spear, blocking all of the mist. Master, save me! Little Immortal King said shakily after seeing this figure. Thud. Yan Jiutian was pushed back by the force of the figure 100 or so km before spitting blood and stopping. Meng, go first, leave this to Master. The hollow figure said coldly. Yes, Master. Lu Meng released an extreme-grade flying immortal artifact and instantly disappeared. The dominant figure then stared coldly at Yan Jiutian and said, You're a mere great eternity immortal tertiary stage and you dare to kill I, Xianzai's disciple. Yan Jiutian wiped the blood from his mouth but said nothing. Clearly he wasn't afraid of this figure. Yemo was shocked. He knew this figure was probably Qianzai Immortal Emperor. If he was to kill Little Immortal King before, he would be marked by Qianzai Immortal Emperor. He didn't care, but he had a few friends at Changrong Heaven. Who knows what Qianzai Immortal Emperor would do? This figure was probably just a sliver of his spirit sense, but it was this powerful. Qianzai seemed to care about Little Immortal King a lot and left a sliver of spirit sense on him. After a while, Yan Jiutian said coldly, I didn't kill your disciple, but you ambushed me and injured me. This is over now. If you have to look for trouble with me, Yan will take this. Yemo and Yan Jiutian both knew that as time went on the spirit sense would weaken. Haha, insolent brat, I hope you can speak such words when you see me. Qianzai said and his figure disappeared. Yan Jiutian ate a pill and said in contempt, A mere immortal emperor middle stage, back in my prime I can crush you at any time. Yemo wanted to laugh. Yan Jiutian was being abused after he fell from his prime. He was a half-divine, but an immortal emperor middle stage spoke to him in such manner. Okay, one cocky trash was sent off by me, now we can resolve the matter between us. Yan Jiutian landed before Yemo again. He could easily kill those of the same level, but he didn't call himself emperor before Yemo. He knew Yemo was extremely powerful too, and even if Yemo weaker than him it would be by a limited amount. Yemo waved his hand and the world rock appeared above his hand. If you want to fight, then fight, stop talking. Yemo didn't dare to underestimate Yan Jiutian. Yan Jiutian had a silver dragon and it still wasn't out. Meanwhile, Shadowless was still in sleep. Yan Jiutian rubbed the black mist in his hands and said, This time you won't get away. Yemo sneered. It didn't seem to be me who ran away last time. Yan Jiutian's face froze for a moment. It really did seem to be him who ran away last time. The black mist disappeared from his hand and at the same time, void seemed to have turned to hell. Endless killing intent rose up everywhere, humming in the void before forming a boundless black bell and struck down. Yemo didn't move. He felt he was in a passive defensive state. He didn't know what Yan Jiutian was doing. He felt the threat of this bell wasn't as simple as smashing down, nor was it to bind him. Soon, the bell suddenly stopped in the void and did nothing. Just when Yemo didn't know what Yan Jiutian was doing, screeching sounds sounded in the void and tens of black arrows tore at Yemo. He saw the bell floating in the air, and the black mist didn't seem to reduce in size, but tens of black mist arrows shot at him. Yemo knew he was tricked. He wasn't enough compared to this cunning Yan Jiutian. Instead of waiting for Yan Jiutian to attack, he might as well attack first. Yemo released Zisu and hacked out Rainbow. A purple rainbow stretched across the void vibrantly. Thud thud. The arrows were blocked by the rainbow as rainbow color splashed everywhere. Most of the arrows were hacked apart, but a few gathered and didn't dissipate. It then continued piercing at Yemo. Yemo was shocked and quickly punched without thinking. Only then did he feel that the nearby space seemed to be under the control of that bell. The killing force whirlpool of hundreds of km radius was swept by Yemo, forming waves of annihilation. Yan Jiutian's eyes looked serious. He had seen this punch. He raised his hand and suddenly more black mist appeared on his wrist. They gathered again, forming a black thin spear. It tore through space and struck towards the killing force whirlpool. Rumble. The two clashed together and violent immortal essence splashed everywhere. Asteroids in thousands of km radius were blown away. Yemo's fist wind paused and a black arrow broke free, shooting at his chest. Yemo knew the terror of this black arrow, but before he could block it, the bell suddenly emitted a sharp sound. Yemo's heart was like struck by a hammer. His immortal essence crippled and his face went pale. Yemo's immortal essence crippled, his fist whirlpool weakened due to this. Yemo's immortal essence crippled, his fist whirlpool weakened due to this. Yan Jiutian's mist spear broke the weakened fist force whirlpool and pierced at Yemo's forehead. Yemo sweated cold and released Zisu while smashing out World Rock. Rumble. Even though Yan Jiutian's spear was already blocked by the fist whirlpool, it still made Yemo feel backlash of immortal essence when Zisu clashed with the spear. He felt like his organs were on fire. His immortal essence was chaotic. On top of that, the World Rock smashing on the bell created an even more terrifying sound as the World Rock flew back too. Luckily, the World Rock did something and at least cut off the sound for a moment. The instant the bell was struck, the nearby bound space was freed. Yemo spat a few mouthful of blood and flew back out. But a few black arrows flew even faster and pierced into his chest. Yemo had the complete lower hand in this battle and received quite some injuries. Luckily, he finally broke free using the World Rock. If he was an immortal spirit body, those arrows would make his body crippled. Yemo didn't even have time to check his wounds after flying back tens of km, and ate a few immortal pills. No wonder you have the right to fight with me, you reached immortal spirit body. Yan Jiutian saw the mist arrows didn't damage Yemo as much as he thought it would and said in shock. However, he didn't ease up on his attacks. The scattered mist gathered into an even more terrifying mist spear. He stepped out and smashed at Yemo again. Even though Yemo was weaker than him now, he had to use this opportunity to kill him, otherwise he couldn't rest easy. The nearby space was immediately moved by this spear and completely bound Yemo's exit. There seemed to be black spear shadows everywhere in the void. Yemo couldn't dodge at all. Yemo never thought of dodging. If it was an immortal king beating him like this, then never mind, but it was a great eternity immortal beating him like this, and he was very annoyed. He had the lower hand before, not because he was that much weaker than Yan Jiutian, but due to his battle experience. Yan Jiutian was so much more experienced in battle than him. Tang Mangrao smash! Yemo flew back and threw the World Rock at Yan Jiutian again while calling out lightning sand immediately. However, it was just gathering force and didn't release. He was waiting for the perfect opportunity to teach Yan Jiutian a lesson. This was the first time Yemo used two god arts at the same time, Tang Mangrao and lightning sand. Yan Jiutian felt very satisfied to be able to easily suppress Yemo. He wasn't going to give Yemo any breathing opportunity and released the mist spear again. His arrows were also ready. He even prepared mist net outside to catch Yemo if he tried to run. But Yemo never thought of running away. Yan Jiutian was very prideful, but so was he. Yan Jiutian was only Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage. Yemo didn't feel his Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage was much weaker than Yan Jiutian. Yemo had never lost to an opponent in the same big cultivation level. How can he run away now? Yan Jiutian found that when there was still some distance between his mist spear and Yemo's huge World Rock landed. Such a powerful god art, Yan Jiutian was shook. He was a space law controller. How could he not know that Yimo's god art fused space law? If it wasn't space law, the world rock wouldn't immediately be above his head. What made him speechless was that this space law seemed familiar. Even Yan Jiutian had to admire Yimo. Yimo only saw him use space law once and could learn a sliver of it. To him, Yimo's learning capabilities were unprecedented. Yan Jiutian's mist spear also formed a huge black mountain and smashed at the world rock. At the same time, he moved the bell hanging in the middle. Seeing the bell make humming sounds, how could Yimo not know Yan Jiutian was going to use the same move again? He lost to this bell before. At this moment, Yimo immediately released How Heaven Drum. He couldn't keep hiding the drum anymore. Dong dong. The bell made soul-captivating sounds, and Yimo forcefully resisted the crippling of his immortal essence, and punched with a pale face. Void. This was the first time Yimo used 3 god arts at once. Waves of weakness came. His body was shaking. He didn't dare to use Wave Kill because it used too much immortal essence and spirit sense. Although it was powerful, but it was hard to kill Yan Jiutian in one go. At most, it would make Yan Jiutian heavily injured. If Yan Jiutian didn't die and he exhausted himself, he would have to await death. The space kill force of 100 km radius was swept up again in this punch. Yan Jiutian sneered. Yimo was out of tricks. He used the same fist twice. It didn't cause him any damage the first time, and now he dared to use it again? Rumble. The entire void was turned over. Yimo's world rock smashed with Yan Jiutian's mist mountain. The void rattled violently. Ripples appeared in the void space. It was as though just a bit more power, and this void would be torn open to a new realm. Crack, crack. The void secret silver of the world rock splashed away, and Yan Jiutian's mist mountain was also smashed away. Unlike last time, the world rock was evenly matched with the mist mountain this time. However, a large layer of the void secret silver was gone. Yan Jiutian sneered, and he gathered his immortal essence and charged at the bell. The bell made even more frequent sounds before forming a long ring. Yimo's face went pale and couldn't resist spitting another mouthful of blood, but his void punch wasn't dispersed this time. Instead, it gathered even more, and the killing force whirlpool was complete. Yan Jiutian felt something wasn't right. The kill force whirlpool wasn't coming at him but smashed on the drum he released. Dong! A terrifying slaughter sound occurred. It was like an army on 10 million was charging and attacking. The killing force was boundless, endless killing intent, and killing will swept towards Yan Jiutian. Yan Jiutian's sea of consciousness felt weak under this sound, and this uncontrollable fear rose up from his heart. Dong! The drum sounded a second time. Void seemed to be crumbling. Heaven and earth seemed to be decimated. Everything shook with this terrifying drum sound. The sound waves spread out like a ripple. Asteroids were pulverized by it. Dong! The drum sounded a third time. It was like the final battle call. Void shook. The drum sound waves spread out non-stop as if tearing this vast reality. Yan Jiutian couldn't handle such terrifying drum sound. He spat a few mouthfuls of blood. Yan Jiutian's face was white like paper now. He felt the spear of millions of soldiers pierce into his body. He spat blood while retreating like crazy. Lightning sand attack! Yimo's face was also terrifyingly pale, but how could he let up on this opportunity? Lightning flashed in the void, and a huge rumble sounded. Thick black lightning smashed out suddenly from the void onto Yan Jiutian's head. Yan Jiutian grunted and dodged. The space ahead of him seemed much more spacious. The lightning sand was about to miss, but Yimo was prepared for Yan Jiutian's space law. The lightning sand seemed to know where Yan Jiutian was going to retreat and suddenly split into two. A part missed, but the other part still fell onto his head. Yan Jiutian was scared soulless and roared. Tear! 100-meter-long silver dragon suddenly appeared. There was despair and sadness in its eyes, but it went before the terrifying lightning sand without any hesitation. Rumble, crack! Blood splashed everywhere. The silver dragon's sad eyes dimmed down. Yimo didn't believe Uncle G would be able to do it. Yemo immediately started recovering his immortal essence in the Golden Page world. A few days later, Yemo had completely recovered. Then, he left the Golden Page world. He took out the Void Location disc to confirm his location. He could still sense the direction of the immortal ship. In the next month, Yemo kept changing places to catch void flying snow. Yemo didn't find another place where the void flying snow grouped up, but in the almost 2 months' time, he caught tens of void flying snow. He had nearly 200 void flying snow. Yemo estimated this was enough to get ranked very ahead, so he released Blue Moon to get back. 3 days later, Yemo stopped. He felt immortal essence wave in the void. There must be a battle. There was also spirit sense barrier formation. Clearly it didn't allow other people's spirit sense to scan over. Just when Yemo was wondering if he should go over to see, 2 dashing lights came. It was 2 great eternity immortal tertiary stage. Yemo didn't move. These 2 weren't enough to worry him. Haha, we stopped another fat one. This person is definitely not bad to be able to appear here. The 2 great eternity immortal appeared on the 2 sides of Yemo. Hearing their words, Yemo realized they were robbers. They were probably waiting on some route to return to the immortal ship. Hand over your void flying snow, I'll let you. The great eternity immortal was suddenly stuck for words. He looked at Yemo worriedly and didn't dare to keep talking. He recognized who Yemo was. It was that great eternity immortal primary stage who killed a great eternity immortal tertiary stage with 1 punch. He was someone not even Di Wenqing dared to challenge. Give what to you? And you will let me go over? Yemo asked. So it's immortal friend Yi, please go as you please, we're just earning a small fortune here, we don't dare to stop you. The great eternity immortal quickly said. Yemo didn't go over but asked. How come I heard you talk about void flying snow? Do you have a lot of void flying snow? The great eternity immortal's face went bitter and sour. He quickly bowed. We just came here, we gave all the void flying snow to the captain. We really have nothing. Yemo's face sunk and his force expanded over. Killing intent showed just like when he killed Guya on the stage. The great eternity immortal quickly said. We really don't have anything, our captain is stopping there. Usually we would draw them to our captain and let your captain attack, right? Yemo asked coldly. The great eternity immortal couldn't even speak. I only have 1. The other great eternity immortal quickly took out 1 void flying snow and gave it to Yemo. Yemo took it without hesitation and asked. How many can you get each time? 5. The great eternity immortal quickly answered. Then write a debt bill. You 2 owe me 10, take me to your captain. Yemo said. The 2 hesitated for a moment, and Yemo's voice went ice cold. What, you don't want to? The 2 hesitated for a moment, and Yemo's voice went ice cold. What, you don't want to? The 2 great eternity immortal glanced at each other and said. We're willing, of course. The 2 would bring Yemo over first. They would have the numbers advantage anyways. Yemo was alone. Yemo extremely detested people blocking the way to rob others, but he didn't want a lot of trouble here. He was just by himself. If they were a team and had quite a lot of people, he would rather have less trouble. The reason he needed an excuse was because his spirit sense blades had broken into the formation and saw that one of the fighters was Chu-Chi. He owes him one. He had to help now no matter what. There was also someone Yemo recognized who was watching on the side. It was Di Wenqing. Yemo wasn't certain if the captain was Di Wenqing. If it was, then he would use an excuse to make Di Wenqing challenge him. From Little Immortal King, Yemo knew that Di Wenqing probably had a sliver of Immortal Emperor spirit sense on him. If this was so, he might not be able to kill Di Wenqing even if he fought him. That way, he might as well let Di Wenqing challenge him. Chu-Chi was only at the lower hand, he wouldn't be in trouble soon. Yemo had the time to look for trouble. He needed to infuriate Di Wenqing. As a captain and great eternity immortal peak stage, Di Wenqing wouldn't allow him to use such means to take his void flying snow. Chu-Chi was on the brink of extreme fatigue, but he knew if he wasn't careful he might lose his life here. Ren Lijin was very worried on the side and wanted to charge up many times, but she knew it wouldn't be helping Chu-Chi. it would only make him die faster. If she went up, the tens of people on that side could all go up. Just when she was worried, she heard a rumble. A purple sword rays hacked in, the spirit sense barrier formation immediately crippled, and 3 people appeared here. Brother Yi! Renlijin called out in surprise and joy. She knew that they were probably saved now that Yemo came. Chuchi also saw Yemo come, but he couldn't break free from his opponent. His slight attention on Yemo allowed a flying sword to break through his defenses. Just when it was about to cut him in half, Yemo dashed over and punched this flying sword. The flying sword was hacked away. He then pulled Chuchi over. Brother Chu, long time no see. Chuchi panted and said, Thank you for saving me again, Brother Yi. The great Eternity Immortal who was about to kill Chuchi was furious, but seeing it was Yemo, he didn't dare to go up. What, you want to fight with numbers advantage? 2 against 1? One great Eternity Immortal immediately yelled. Yemo patted Chuchi's shoulder, signaling him to rest on the side, and then he turned around saying to that great Eternity Immortal, You're right, what can you do to me? Yemo sneered. There were so many people surrounding the 2 of them, and they had the face to say numbers advantage. He could tell there were 3 factions here. Diwenqing's side only had 10. Yemo was annoyed for not being able to kill Yan Jiutian, and now he was robbed on the way. He had 0 patience now. You're asking to die. The great Eternity Immortal yelled and signaled a few great Eternity Immortal behind him. Yemo waved his hand, letting Chu Qi and Renlijin retreat. He took a step forward. Killing intent exploded all over his body and rose crazily. In just a short time, he formed invisible killing intent ripples around him. Hurry up and fight, don't waste time. Yemo flung his hand and the world rock hung above his head. With this, the nearby space immediately became depressing. It was as though the world rock was the heaven, and if it fell, people could only wait for death. He didn't even care if they gained up on him. He was waiting for Diwenqing. If Diwenqing dared to come up, he would kill him even if he had immortal Emperor Spirit Sense protecting him. San Luo retreat. A young great Eternity Immortal peak stage walked up and yelled. He then came up to Yemo and saluted with his fists. Immortal friend Yi, my friend was too blunt. Tingxing Heaven Bai Tan, hope immortal friend you won't take that seriously. Yemo stared at this Bai Tan. He was very young and had golden hair. The chi from him was very strong. He was probably on par with Lu Meng. You're the captain? Yemo asked with disappointment. He thought the captain was Diwenqing. If Diwenqing wasn't the captain, Yemo didn't have a way to make him come to him. Yes. Bai Tan smiled and saluted with his fists. I'm indeed the captain. It's just a duel here. It's definitely fair. Brother Di, Brother Pang, Brother Taisha are all just watching here and being a witness. Of course, as a witness, we won't mistreat them. If immortal friend Yi is willing, you can be a witness here too. Yemo immediately realized. Bai Tan was using duels here to collect void flying snow. The witnesses like Diwenqing and them had a split of the profit. Bai Tan would be the bad guy and everyone else reaped the profit. If they were reported, the rest of them could also vouch for Bai Tan. Chu Qi sneered. Really? How come my cousin and I didn't want to hand over the void flying snow, so we weren't allowed to go? Yemo stared coldly at Bai Tan and said, It seems that when I passed over here I needed to hand over void flying snow to pass. Friend is doing a good business, much more effective than collecting the void flying snow in danger. Bai Tan's face changed. Clearly Yemo was bullshitting to start trouble. What thing are you? Let me test if your fame is real or fake. A great Eternity Immortal tertiary stage went past Bai Tan and released a 6-headed spear at Yemo. Bai Tan wanted to stop this great Eternity Immortal, but then thought if Yemo wasn't really that powerful, then all of them might be able to kill them. Yemo's killing intent had nowhere to go, and this great Eternity Immortal was the perfect target. Yemo punched just like with Guya. Void. With this punch, Bai Tan's face immediately changed. He realized that Yemo's power was greater than his face. But he didn't even have the power to stop it. If he dared to go into the fist wind whirlpool, he would also die. Diwenqing sneered, if Bai Tan could suppress Yemo with his people, he would go help without hesitation. But seeing this punch, Di Wenqing's face changed. He knew that Yemo's power increased greatly since a few months ago. Di Wenqing originally wanted to challenge Yemo, but seeing this punch he immediately gave up on the thought. The great Eternity Immortal was caught by the kill force whirlpool. In that instant he felt endless void killing force sweeping at him. He would be sucked in the next second, and if he went in there, he had the feeling he would turn to bloody mist. In his fear, the great Eternity Immortal burned his immortal essence like crazy, trying desperately to break free. Immortal friend Yi, please have mercy, I'm willing to pay 5 void flying snow. Bai Tan saw the great Eternity Immortal was about to be torn to pieces and quickly said. The killing force paused and Yemo kicked the chest of the great Eternity Immortal, sneering. Piss off. The great Eternity Immortal flew back and kept spitting blood in air, but he didn't feel he was insulted. His face was covered in fear. If Bai Tan spoke a little later, he would be dead already. With that kick, the killing intent and killing force nearby dispersed like nothing happened. Bai Tan immediately gave Yemo a jade box. Immortal friend Yi, thanks for your mercy. Bai Tan felt it ached his heart. Some of them didn't catch a single one for a few months, but he paid 5 immediately. Yemo threw it in his storage ring and then took out a jade slip for Bai Tan and said, This is a debt bill, see if it's fine, if it is, then clear it. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.